button. Recording. Hey everybody, this is Kevin at Podcastforwe. Podcast for us, the Gamestop stock buyers and users, and we're your hosts, Kevin and Eber team. You know, who investors in GameStop? Not really. We bought stuff at GameStop.
Yeah, we bought stuff from there.
Yeah, but we didn't.
Not stock.
Not stock. Who would have thought? Funny story about that is this one kid, his grandma, it's always the grandma, like she looks into what the kid does best, like most. He goes to GameStop a lot because he doesn't have the internet as much. So he, because us, we'll buy shit online. You still buy actual shit. Most people are buying online. So this kid's buying shit from GameStop. So she thought it'd be a cute gift, get him something that's in, the thing that he likes. So she bought him some stock, and then when the fucking GameStop apocalypse happened, or whatever the fuck it's, or rebirth, I would say, he made $37,000 because
I saw that headline.
I was like, fuck, man. Do you know? Okay, do you know what happened?
Yeah, it's a kind of market manipulation that's been going on for a long time, but this time they got screwed over. Because they thought nobody else knew the rules of the game, or they just weren't, they weren't connected enough. And so they thought they were going to prosper off of GameStop going down. And then these Reddit guys said, no, fuck you. You guys went ahead and gambled on GameStop going down. So we're going to stop that gain and fuck you guys over. Because I had heard of shorts before. And I had heard that the risk is that you could owe infinite dollars, right? Because what's happening right now, and this is why those guys had to close the trading on GameStop. So they sell, right? And then
no, it's okay. So the stockbrokers.
So you loan me your PlayStation 2, right?
And I'm betting on the bank. Am I the bank?
You're some guy that's holding stocks.
Okay.
You're some guy that's holding stocks. You have a PlayStation 2. I borrow your PlayStation 2 because I think it's going to get cheaper. So now I've got your PlayStation 2. You sold it to me for $100? Yeah? Okay. Then I sell it for that $100 because I think it's going to get cheaper later on. Then when it gets to $50, I buy two of them. Right?
And then give it back.
I buy two of them. I give you back your one, but I keep the other one as profit. And now I can sell it or write it or do whatever I want. Now, the problem is, let's say it becomes super fucking expensive to buy that same goddamn PlayStation. And all of a sudden, my time limit is hit. And I need to give you back your PlayStation, but the problem is they don't cost the $100 that I paid you for it. They cost $200, $300, $400.
So you owe me.
And I fucking owe you. So now I'm on to get that PlayStation. Now, me buying that PlayStation also drives up the cost of the PlayStation to get it back to you. So now these fucking guys, they're creating their own fucking problem because they got to buy that shit back expensive to be able to pay back the shares that they borrowed. And so that's where it could be this upward spiral,
Well, okay. So you got these rich fucks, right? And they can make deals that you can technically make, but not really. And right. they borrow like $1 million from the bank with the hope that they could pay you back. But now they owe the bank not 1 million, but billions.
You're right. That's the other layer to it. They borrow from the banks so that they can so that they can ensure the borrowing that they're doing from the stocks so they could sell them. And then when that goes under, they gotta fucking spend twice or three times that much money. Sorry, keep going, dude. Sorry.
No, but like I'm confused in the sense of why. I wanted to play the thought game with you on this one because all right, so fuck them, the brokers, right? Because the brokers, but the people who borrowed the money, they made a bet and they lost. Now I get what the bank's problem is they were not getting their money back. Chances are, if you push hard enough, the broker could just, or the guy who borrowed the money could just file for bankruptcy, as they would do because they could afford it. Because They already have the money to do that. So the bank loses out. That's really the fear, is that the banks will lose out. And I don't even give a shit. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think that's a thing to worry about, in the sense like, okay, maybe you shouldn't have done that. Maybe learn your lesson. So what if you go bankrupt? I don't care if the bank goes bankrupt and the broker gets bankrupt.
The hedge fund guys, that's such a niche,
Yeah, exactly.
thing. There's a bunch of hedge fund managers out there, but and not all of them have to borrow from banks, because a lot of these guys already have billions, right?
But
There's one guy,
most of them.
there's one guy that lost, I think it was like $300 million himself.
Oh well.
And he basically told those guys, bring it,
Mhm.
because he's got money to spare. I think he's worth like $16 billion or something.
Yeah.
And
No, but why boo fucking who? Why is it a thing in which it's turning it? I actually have an answer to my own question, but I'm just posing it though.
I don't know anybody that's boohooing it. I think those.
Oh, have you watched the news? I mean,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
why would Robin Hood?
No, yeah, no. That side, they're trying to get on there boohooing it, right? They're
Yeah.
the guys that have been playing that game. They don't want it being played this way, because it also adds risk. Because it's almost like they thought they were the only pirates out there. Now there's anti-pirate pirates, and they're like, oh no, fuck that,
Yeah, it's stupid that, like, okay, so these people are inadvertently, they were shitty people to begin with, or not shitty people, depending on what you want. What makes them shitty is the opposition to being played, because these other fuckers got together, and the first time in history, poor people got together and not really understanding what. Yeah, they didn't really know what they were doing when they did it. They just thought they were fucking these guys, which they kind of were, but I don't think they understand the ramifications of what that means. Like, there's no, it's like you accidentally killed a king.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
they didn't mean to. They meant, like, let's stick it to him, and then they murdered him. And they're like, fuck. But, like, even then, they don't know. And even then, it's hard to quantify what went down. And let's play the thought game out. So you know how, like, we should just let things happen, right? With our methodology, right? You want to be trans, go into fighting, and then sort of just let it go. Just let it go. Let everything happen. So this is why this is kind of bad, I would think, right? And I should be pro the poor people, but let me just devil's advocate this. So the market is not just the market; it's the thing of all things. As long as we have physical bodies and physical things, it's the thing of all things. Everything has a monetary value, and you can bid on it and shit. So, like, say gold goes down, silver goes down, gold goes up, silver goes up. This hand goes for. I mean, like, just all sorts of things are of value. And okay, so most times the people dictating what goes up and down are actually people who kind of know what's going on, whether they're good or bad people. They kind of know what's going on. And so they got a trajectory of what they should go. Even if they're greedy, they're like, okay, well, we got to do this, but I can't go too far, because then they'll fuck me in the long run, and the world. I need the world, to exist. So I can't fuck the world. So they are making big plays and small plays, but they're moving the market in a certain way. And yeah, to their benefit, but also to no disbenefit of the world, per se, not too much, because they still got to live in this world, right? And now you have these poor people who don't have that much education, in comparison to the, like, I mean, maybe you got a few, but, like, percentage wise, not really. In comparison to these hedge fund managers, they're not geniuses either. But it's just like, when you're talking about, well, I've been shaping this world for so long versus the power of the poor. Okay, so you start giving value to nothing, like GameStop. GameStop is nothing, but they were giving value to GameStop, which fucked the hedge guys. And yeah, that's cool. But what happens if they keep doing it, right? Like nothing things, going up in value, and then just fucking the market up. I mean, how can't that go wrong though?
Yes, because this is going to end badly. All these people that
Yes.
are making money, they're not making money out of nothing. And they're not making that money off of the hedge fund guys. What's going to happen is that somebody's going to buy into it at the end of this fucking thing, right before it crashes. And those are going to be the ones that are going to be left holding the bags, because GameStop's not a Bitcoin unless it becomes one. Just GameStop stock becomes valuable just because it's GameStop stock. But that's likely not to happen.
Yeah.
Because GameStop's not worth even what it was worth when this whole fucking thing started, right? It's honestly down.
$400. That's like what Apple used to be. GameStop is no Apple,
No,
I mean, Apple's
no.
more now, but before it was like around $400.
There's other things. There's how many shares make up, the total market of whatever, whatever IPO or whatever. But no. The problem here is that somebody at the end is going to pay $400 for it, and then it's going to dive, and they're going to be the one stuck with a bunch of worthless stock. So, and that could very well end up being a lot of people that are just now deciding, oh shit, I'm going to go put a mortgage on my house or something like that, or get a loan that I can't afford, buy a bunch of GameStop stuff, and then get fucked. And not so much get fucked because the Reddit guys, they're also not dumb. I mean, they're all gonna,
not all of them.
The money's only the value that they have is only that value on paper. They have to sell their stock for it to be worth anything. So, that kid to have made $37,000 has to sell that stock.
Mm-hmm.
And that's
probably already did.
I'm sure he already did, but eventually everybody's going to cash out, and that's going to flood the market with shares, and that's going to drive the price down because people are going to say,
of course it's going to, that's short selling. That's what short selling is.
Well, no.
Shorting a stock is selling your stock like really quick.
No, the short, the short tactic is borrowing something so you could sell it short later. Now, you don't usually buy high and sell low. That's why this is counterintuitive, right? This whole idea.
No, I know, but you're shorting the stock, meaning you bought a bunch of it so you could then sell it really quick.
So you could then sell it quick and then buy it.
Shorting the stock. That's what
you're giving yourself a short position, really.
Yeah.
You're saying that this thing's gonna.
And some of these
be able to buy this thing cheaper later.
Yeah, some of these fucks went hard, dude. They like borrowed a lot of money to do this, and it worked. It fucking worked. I mean, like the 800%.
It's worked for a really long time, and you're really making money off of investors losing money is what you're doing. Mm-hmm. And so you're not really even providing a service, really. You're just taking advantage of this quirk, this thing that happens, and betting usually on knowledge, on good knowledge that something's going down. And I think GameStop was one of those easy targets. Obviously, right?
It just so happens they picked one. I really wish they picked one of my short stocks. Jesus Christ, I have a lot, and I was like, man, dude, if these fucking nerds, dude, I got one called MEDT. That's the ticker. It's called Metatronics. I got like 100,000 shares of that because I got it for like $1. And then I was like, man, dude, if that shit just went to $1, I'd be great.
It'd be made.
Yeah, dude. Made. No, but like
there's something happening with silver right now. I just saw something about it earlier, but the problem with that is they're wondering if it's the hedge fund guys trying to play the same game as the Reddit guys.
Yeah, but that's a lot harder though, because they're gonna have to put a lot of money into it in comparison, because they only had to put a little bit.
Well, so the thing is, they all could have done that at some point, right?
Yeah.
These short sellers could have done it to each other, what the Reddit guys are doing, because they have the money to do it. But then that's like open warfare. That's like nuclear warfare, right?
Yeah.
Everybody just dropping nukes on each other. So I think there's always been like an agreement, like a gentleman's agreement between these guys. But now they're pissed because they don't have a gentleman's agreement with me and you.
Yeah. Well, I don't, you know what, with pros, like, I'm not like a pro stock guy, but if you watch stocks long enough, you get this kind of rhythm to it where you're like, oh, well, they're buying because of this, or they're doing this because of that. And you get these feelings, and then you act on it. And I have a thing in which, like, these guys are watching the stock market and they see these movements and they're like, oh, it seems like Bill's at it again. Well, I'll then put all this money here, and they'll it's a big chess game with this stuff. And that's what they're living to do. That's what they live to do. and they could see what they're doing. And you're right, they could have banded together to do that, but that's not the game they're playing. It's not like
I don't think they banded. I think they've just kind of agreed to not go after each other because there was so much money being made by short
well, yeah,
selling.
it's not the game they wanted to play. Like when you're dealing with millions of dollars, that's not the chess game they wanted. They wanted to do this to that, to that to this, and then make Bill buy a bunch of shit without even actually talking to each other, just doing it. But if they wanted to band together, they could have changed the entire scope of the economy. But I'm pretty sure that they understood doing that would have some ramifications on the entire world, because it would be really bad if gold went down in value and then some third world country buys a bunch of it, takes it out of the system, and then dies. And then you have no more gold.
Well,
you kind of need that commodity.
I mean, the money that's being made and moved on GameStop is like nothing compared to the overall economy.
But GameStop isn't real.
I know what you're
though.
saying. If we were to extrapolate it out to something bigger,
Yeah.
say a standard like gold or silver
or corn,
that's
like an actual commodity. Right now, these Redditors, they got a taste of power, and the scary thing is you don't understand what that could mean, because America has a lot of losers in it, and that have the ability to borrow money. All because you have money doesn't mean that you're not a loser. You could be effectively a loser as a rich person. And you got all these losers that get a taste of power, like real power. And if they just start buying up like mass quantities of commodities, like that could be really damaging for the world. Like, for instance,
I don't think it's that. I don't think that the Reddit guys are coming out of this powerful. I think they were able to exploit.
Yeah, they are. Shut up. They are. You know how I know?
Influential, but not powerful. I think because I think what's going to end up happening, this might get regulated. Only because the people that are going to get screwed over at the end of this fucking thing, that we're going to see a lot of people defaulting on their loans, and banks are going to be taking the brunt.
I don't think they took loans out like that. I think they borrowed a bunch of money, did it? When I'm telling you about power, let me explain what power is. So they for the first time, these nerds who had no voices, they wouldn't have done this if it wasn't for the fact that they're trying to screw the man, right? And they did, and it's in the news. And now the guy who started this was I think it's like hashtag Wall Street Bets. I found him on Reddit, and I've been trying to pump my fucking stocks up. MEDT, everybody, all my fans, fucking invest. Let's be the next shit. So anyways, on his thing, he's like, yeah, we got this shit. We're going to hold it and all this. He's talking shit. And then everybody on that. So Reddit works like this. You have the main comments, and then you have other comments, and they get upvoted. Right. And then a lot of the comments on there are like, yeah, we fucking did it. We did it. And then there's all these likes, and we fucking did this. We fucked those guys. And that's the general consensus, is they fucked the man, because there's always been that sentiment to fuck the man, and they did. And it's in the news. It's validated in the news. In fact, it's validated to the point where they're like, hey, we're going to have to regulate this shit. So now it's like a powder keg. You got these fucking nerds that have this power for the first time ever. They're like, oh shit, we could do something? And this is GameStop, right? This is not a real life, But what could hurt them the most? It only takes one person to get the idea, like, oh, if we buy all the world's corn, we'll drive those prices up. And they're like, yeah, we'll really fuck them, right? And they'll have that stupid mentality, right? And so corn goes up, and then you have these like 50 other countries that can't afford corn, and they die. I mean, because now you've driven the price up well past 300%. It's staggering. So if I'm a country that can barely afford the price of corn at this price, and you drive it 300%, guess what? My country's dead. Like, that's just corn.
But that's always been a thing, though. So that's called cornering the market. That's when you try to control so many shares that you all of a sudden start to control the price.
But that's people who already have a kind of plan. They don't want to destabilize economies. They just want to be rich, and they keep being rich. You kind of need these countries to be so they can make the things that they make. So that's why you don't have that evil mastermind saying, yeah, let me do, because they could. They very well could. This is not a thing that's not new. They could have done this for like 100 years. They could have been doing this, but they haven't. You know why? Because they understand. They understand how the economy works. Here you gave it to like 70 million Reddit people. And do you really think those fucking Cheeto eating motherfuckers have like an idea, a semblance of what they're doing? No, they just bought GameStop. You know, they're like, oh yeah, cool. It only takes like one guy to get the idea to do something like that. And then get this, it's fast. I mean, they just press a button, they borrow some money, buy a bunch of shit, raise the price up, and fuck, Uganda's dead. You just killed 1 million people, you know, because they can't afford food for that day, you know, until the price goes down. And obviously, if you look at GameStop, the fucking shit isn't going down anytime soon. It will. And go back to its value.
That's what it's got to get regulated in either direction. Either, you know, it's got to, you know, cut out the hedge fund guys, the you know, the short sellers, and it's got to prevent people from doing this type of
market. But that takes away from the free market.
Yeah, but you know, it's a national security thing too. So
yeah, it is and it isn't, right? Because now you've so say you regulate it now. Now you've really pissed off 70 million, because that's how many people are in there. In that Reddit, 70 million? What the fuck is that? What is that number? Tell me what that number is, because what you got?
They're getting over 1 million new users. Was it? There's an app, a trading app that's getting 1 million new users every day.
So what does that mean though? Because we have 350 million people. And you got like 70 fucking million people that are like, hey, fuck this. We're gonna get those guys. And now you took their power away. I mean, fuck, dude.
No,
what is?
I think they were trying to expose it. It's almost like when a hacker hacks something just to show that it was hackable, you know.
That's the one person. This is different. This is let's do this. They did it. That's your movement. You know, kind of like Occupy New York. They really didn't have an understanding of what they were doing. They were just occupying. They just had the one part idea, and it never evolved from there. It just did it. Because they didn't
think anything's going to happen here. I really don't.
This is this is different, because now you got a group of fucking people. All they have to do is invest. That is all. All they know that when they borrow a bunch of money, buy a bunch of stock, shit goes up, and they try to short sell. And yeah, a lot of people get fucked over. But what damage will that do if they start picking it? I mean, they haven't done it yet, but they fucking for real could do this. Is buy like a cup, like rice, like buy rice, a shit ton of that, hold it, and now I can't buy rice anymore for my fucking Ugandans or Ukraine.
But you know what? But the amount of money you would need to corner a market that would affect a country, you'd need.
No, it would affect a country if they can't. Tell a country.
I agree.
You know what I mean? 300%. 300%.
But if you're talking about a staple, GameStop is not a staple.
It isn't a staple. It's nothing.
I know it's nothing. That's
and on a whim, they made nothing go 300%.
Yeah, but the thing is, something that a country uses as a resource is usually way too big for, you know, even a country to try and buy out.
You don't understand. Like, I hear what you're saying, but there's a lot of countries, and it doesn't take much to destabilize our economy. How do I know this? America does it all the time, and then we do what we want to do. That's how we get influence. We destabilize a country and give them aid, and then we're like, see, we're cool, right? And we do it all the time. Now, if you give that power to a bunch of nerds, it's like, what the fuck? It's like see, with America does it, they're like, okay, we'll destabilize this country. Okay, cool, we'll help them. It's like an attack. They know what they're doing. Now you have a bunch of other fucking idiots just attacking. And you couldn't predict it. And that's why I think that this is going to create a fucking powder keg, in the sense of, you're going to take a power from these idiots.
Well, I think they've exposed the vulnerability. They
have.
I think that's the biggest thing to come out of this.
But they won't see that.
Well, I mean, the insiders, I hope, are seeing that and are.
But they don't matter. That's the thing. What matters is the mass. You have a crowd of people. Like, okay. When you raided the Capitol, all these fucking people, right? They didn't understand what they were doing, but they did it, and it was bad, you know? And the repercussions, we won't even know. You know what I mean? Like, we just showed people, hey, You know, with one guy, we could just be stupid. Like, okay, got it, done. That was dumb, but they don't know what they're doing. Insiders know what's going on. Doesn't matter. They did what they did. It only had to take one time to fuck everything up. Now you got these fucking games, these people who bought games. You know what? I'm all about them too. I like destruction, but I just see us that they will then think to themselves, hey, look, they're trying to take, because, okay, when the Robinhood when the news came out of the Robinhood, they're restricting the buying of the stock. It wasn't taken as they're trying to protect the interests of the economy or anything like that. It was like, it was taken like this. These motherfuckers are protecting those hedge mongols, and which is kind of right, but kind of not, you know, because you're trying to like keep the economy going a certain way, you know, and like they just don't know how to articulate it right. So here you got all these fucking Reddit people, and they're seeing Robinhood do that, and what do they fucking do? What do they fucking turn it into? The fucking rich are trying to take us down again.
No, I think that is what it was, though. That's the problem.
I guess
One of the companies that they work with is one of those big hedge funds that was getting hit. And it was just like, hey, you know, you do us a huge favor, because it basically bought them, I think it was like 12 hours or some shit like that, or a day. It basically bought them some time to go out and buy up the stocks at the price they were at.
To recoup,
because they were still able to buy, you know, using other means, but the people on the Robinhood app weren't. So it's basically to kind of just stop the bleeding, give them a chance to heal, and cut their losses before it turned into infinity.
Well, it's it's less than that. It's more of a, it's not infinity per se. It's more of a, The idea behind it is if they keep these fucking stocks and not sell it, they'll keep that price up there. And in that time, the expiration date of buying this stock will go over, in the sense of the people who got their money loaned to them, and they will have to then pay all that money back. So they'll just effectively take a hit. Then if you want to short sell it, go and short sell it. So that's why you have the memes hold the line, because if you buy it and then sell it, then it's all for nothing. But if you buy it, hold it, and then when those fucking hedge guys
have to spend the money,
they have to pay. You fucking won, you know. And then you get that taste of power. And I have to say, I mean, it's cool. I like the idea of that, but I don't know. I can see that being a bad thing. I can see. I mean, I'm for the people doing that again and again. I hear you, but I mean, the ability for a bunch of goons just fucking buying stock, holding it, keeping it up, you know, for some imaginary enemy. For all you know, there is no hedge master for this particular stock.
I mean, the regulation is not going to happen on these Redditor guys' side. It's going to happen on the short seller side, because this scheme of borrowing shares and then selling them back within a certain amount of time, what does that do? What benefit is that to the economy or to shareholders, that they're basically betting and then saturating the market? Because it is a form of market manipulation, just like buying up all the stock to raise the price, then borrowing a bunch of stock and then selling it buries the price. You know, it craters it. So that's another form of market manipulation that is probably going to get checked after this. So like I said, the regulation, I don't think it's going to happen on the Redditor side so much as the hedge fund side, because it's like, what the fuck? You're just making money off of money. You're not even speculating on the value of something, you know, up or down. You're just betting that it's going down and basically putting other people at risk.
See, the problem is, okay, so there's no way to win this. There isn't. And if you create regulation, you're just screwing the small person. You just are.
No.
There's no way to regulate this.
No, regulating the short selling doesn't screw over the small person. It actually will help defend. How?
I'm rich, okay? The bank is rich. Me and the bank are together because together we make money. I'm not rich, people. I'm just, express the point. So you create a time limit, right? So I can't short the stock. What do? I go, bank, extend the fucking time we get the loan, because there's no real law. It's the bank that makes this fucking ideology here. So no matter what you do, the bank wants to make money. The rich want to make money, and they'll always work together to screw the small person. The small person, what their plan is to try to get on the wave of all this shit. And so you created a situation where they can't really possibly do what you do, because you can effectively get a loan, buy a bunch of shit, and then sell it, and then be rich. And guess who gets fucked over if you fail? You. Who gets fucked over? Them. But to a smaller extent. They could borrow millions of dollars to be all right.
The purpose of investment is a company needs money to grow. So you buy shares of that company so that the company can use that money so they can grow. This short seller is not doing something in the hopes of trying to benefit the growth of the economy. It's betting on the poor health of the economy. And that's why I think they can regulate that, because it does become a national security threat. People betting on and doing things to hurt the economy to benefit themselves. So, but it doesn't hurt it doesn't hurt the little guy, because the little guy is usually the one with the 401k who's putting his money into the set of stocks or whatever, right? And these other guys are like basically betting that portions of your portfolio are going to go down, and they're doing things to make sure it goes down. Meanwhile, since me and you aren't in the know, we don't know. And we don't know what they're doing to affect our portfolios and our retirements. So protecting against that form of short selling or taking advantage or trying to bet on, and then make happen the cratering of different stocks. I think that's really important, and people had been calling for it before, but I think with this now, I think people are gonna. I think there should be more attention to it now.
I think that would damage the economy tremendously if you regulate, in the sense that
preventing short sellers.
It will create a situation where rich people.
So how do short sellers help the economy? They don't. They really don't, because the banks don't make money. You're working under the assumption that the banks are loaning money. The banks aren't loaning money to hedge funds.
The banks do money off the stocks. In fact, that's what they do with your interest.
The banks make money off of insuring the companies that are making these bets.
And they make money off your interest.
When they lose, these companies basically call in their insurance. This is why AIG was in such big trouble back in 2008, because they had insured all these fucking different chopped up, home loans that were what is it, the subprime mortgage loans and everything like that. They were on the hook because they had insured all these fucking things. Now that's the housing market, not GameStop, or any other individual IPO. I think regulating something that's meant to bet against the economy, I think that's a no-brainer. The only problem is the guys that are doing it, the hedge fund guys, all that stuff, they got lobbies, and they can afford to do all this stuff. And
if they regulate the stock market against short sellers, I think that would destabilize the economy.
No, the short sellers aren't part of the economy. That market, it isn't a thing, because they don't make anything except money to concentrate wealth in a few people. They don't really provide a service, right? So they're not loaning money out to businesses so they can hire people. They're not doing that. That's not a thing.
I think you have it's one aspect of a short seller of the stock market, of the economy. You have, there's me and you short sellers, right? That we're nothing. Then there's actual people out there, and they're actually bigger game. They're bigger in ways we can't comprehend. And they buy and they sell the market as they see fit to grow and grow a sector to shorten a sector, to shorten a sector to grow a sector. And there's a master game being played. And it's not like they're like super geniuses. They just have so much money. And they know if they funnel a lot of money in this spot, it lowers the prices of certain things so they could do other things. It's like a big chess game that's being played. And so that if you limit their power for that, they'll still be able to play the game. But
yeah, there's still the buy high, sell low game available to them, right? But all of a sudden the risk is more on them. If you eliminate short selling, the risk becomes more on them to participate with everybody else in taking the risk.
I think the same people will be doing the same thing, but effectively you're taking the power from the smaller person. They will never be able to buy.
It's this it's similar to like the laws against monopolies and stuff, because
Which
again,
they still do. There is no, again, there's a law against monopoly, but they just changed, but people just do different things. So so I own Pac Bell, right? This is back in the day. I own Pac Bell. You tell me, oh, you got to break it up. Oh, okay, cool. Bob, I don't know you, even though you're my uncle. You will own Pac Bell of the West. Steve,
right.
I don't know you, but you are really my brother. You will own Pac Bell of the West, and I will own Pac Bell of the North, and then so on and so forth. It's still all you're doing is the same fucking thing. The money's still there. They just have to change their name 4 different ways. Like the monopolies are always, see, whenever you try to regulate this shit, there's another thing that grows out of it, which is the same exact thing. Like Facebook isn't just Facebook. Facebook is a bunch of other little companies.
Well,
over
that's why
time.
You have to keep that's why you got to keep chasing it. You got to keep chasing the schemes. And this hedge fund is another scheme, because there's also laws against cornering the market too.
Whenever poor people get together and draw like blood, the thing that happens then is regulation. Now, if it was the same exact poor people making the regulation, I would then say, there might be something there. But it isn't. It is regulation in which poor people cannot do the thing that they did, and then the rich people can.
I think that's what's going to happen. I really do think that's what's going to happen. Yeah,
of course.
That's the pessimistic view, and I honestly think that's what's going to happen.
That of course that's what's going to happen. And I'm like, right now, they showed that they could do something. And
what should happen is these hedge fund guys need to be put in check by regs, but that's not going to happen.
No.
That's what should happen.
It's going to create a situation where I can't do that, but if I have $50 million, I could do that.
Or there's going to be a lever in place to do like what the Robinhood app did.
Yeah, which is totally bullshit. It's like if I'm in a service to buy and sell, and you tell me I can't buy and sell because I'm winning, I mean, fuck. And that's
because the question got asked. You know what? They asked them, how did you guys stopping the buying or selling of GameStop help your customers? If all it did was create the stock, how did that help your customers that had already bought stock? If anything, it hurt them.
Yeah,
you actively hurt your customers. And then was it? I think on Friday,
the CEO.
On Friday that CEO dirtbag,
young guy.
On Friday, on Friday, GameStop shares halved, and then by the end of the day got back to where they were, and then I think today they kept going up again.
And when you think they halved, we both know what happened there. I mean, it means that we couldn't buy any. Well, us poor people couldn't buy anymore, and then the rich could, and then they did.
Yeah,
and that's what brought it back up. So
that was the glitch. They ended up playing the game that the Reddit guys are playing.
Well, but they could always
probably
do that.
Against themselves.
Yeah,
they probably played the game against themselves.
Yeah, they took the hit so that they could do this and then like sell at what they needed, because it's gonna go back to where they want, and they'll be back where they started. They'll probably break even, if anything. They won't lose out. So it's not that bad for them, But it is kind of peculiar, right? You can't buy any more shares, and then all of a sudden it doubles. You know what? It goes down for a set because people started selling, and so they started buying. The goal was to buy, hold. And it's hard to hold, right? Because you just gained 300% of whatever you bought. And if you took loans out, you kind of needed to sell. And I think a lot of people did. And they made their money and they got out.
Yeah, and a lot of regular people can't be sitting there watching the stock in real time to see what it's doing. They got jobs and shit.
Well, I do. And I'm not going to lie. I look like every 30 seconds. It's like a Facebook, like looking at your face. You don't know, but I'll be typing. I'll look real quick. And I'm like, okay. And at the fucking moment I see any stock pop up to any significance, I'm like, sell. So it's like instant. I like my background.
Yeah, you're saying you're the little guy. You're saying you're poor, but you're on the is it the executor?
Yeah, I know, right? No, I don't know. It's no. This is the original Death Star. You know, Vader. He's doing the thing. Well,
Not
not
Death
he's not
Star, Star Destroyer.
Star Destroyer. You know
That's a
what I
Star
meant.
Destroyer.
It is a Star
You said
Destroyer.
Death. Yeah, you
Well,
said Death Star.
fucking.
Right?
How do you put Star and Destroyer, Star? I mean, like, what the fuck, Death? I mean, like, their names are kind of like the same. You know, someone with mush brain. All right, let's talk about WandaVision.
Let's talk about WandaVision. It's getting good now.
Okay. You know what? I was watching it and I was like, this is pretty good. I was only because they didn't validate, but they went back and they did deep cuts.
Yeah.
And I thought that was cool. A lot of deep cuts.
The problem is you can't there's really no need to go back and watch those episodes because the moments that you
that
need
episode
are really few. That episode you need to watch a bunch of times.
You know,
it's
episode
funny. 4, you can go back and watch it a bunch of times and
it strengthens our point though. I mean, those first 3 episodes unnecessary. You know what I mean?
No,
like they were like
necessary, but I almost think you could have squished those 3 episodes into one 45-minute episode.
Exactly.
One 45-minute episode,
Exactly.
and every 15 minutes it shifts into a new time or something like that.
Yeah.
They didn't have to break it up into different episodes.
So apparently she was having a lifetime of experiences because they're watching TV, right?
Like
but they were watching
yeah.
no, the people watching.
Yeah.
No, they're watching each episode, right? From day to night. And I'm like, there was only like 3 episodes on our end.
For us, right.
So there must have been a lot of episodes. And they confirmed the what are we in the 50s? It was in the 50s and the 60s. Now, so they confirmed that. So they had been watching episodes up to that point. Would it be cool if they showed a montage or a cliffhanger? You know, oh, this is a cliffhanger or some kind of a exposition. You know, because what the fuck were they watching? There's only 3 episodes.
Yeah, yeah. It was. I still feel like there's no need to go back and watch those 3 episodes.
I agree. I don't even know why you're bringing that up.
I can't. No, because you're talking about, you know, other things that they could have added or whatever.
I think like a montage of episodes we haven't seen, so that just to validate, what they're doing, because there's only 3 episodes, and it just so happens every time we see them, they're watching the episode we had already seen.
We had already watched, right?
And I'm all like, well, fuck, what happened in between those? Unless they're just dumb, I don't know. But I would surmise that there's a bunch of episodes that we didn't see.
Yeah, no, that's what I got from it too.
Mm-hmm.
That was my understanding. It was cool to see some characters coming back. I knew early on that was spoiler. That was Rambo, Rambo's daughter.
You knew beforehand? I knew when they said Rambo. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
When they said her fucking name, I was like, oh shit, it's the kid from Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
You know, and I thought that was pretty cool. And then they did that time jump 5 years. So that works out for her age for that time. It just makes sense. Yeah. It's cool that she's like a member of SWORD. And I thought SWORD was aliens, you know?
It is. But
they turned it into a thing.
It's Space Shield.
But they called it sentient weapon? Like sentient weapon?
My problem is SWORD existed before Thanos got to Earth.
Okay, yeah.
So now I'm like,
what the fuck?
Okay. So where were they when all this shit was happening? I get that it happened fast, you know, but this is our first time hearing about SWORD, and they're trying to retcon going back.
It depends. It depends. When did SWORD get created? Because you have so it couldn't have been during the Avengers, the first Avengers. Because you don't know. You just know that Melinda Rambo is
Melissa,
her name?
No, Monica.
Monica Rambo. No, the mom.
Oh, I forgot that one. Yeah, Proton. Yeah. I don't remember her first name.
She makes SWORD, but you don't know when. Because so when he snaps his fingers, Thanos, SWORD exists.
Yes.
So that means then, when was SWORD created? It had to have just been created then, because any other time.
Because Monica Rambo, the younger one, she goes in tries to swipe her card and it's not valid, which means that she's trying to walk in like she's always walked in, which means that facility's always been there, which means everybody should know who she is. She knows her way around. So the facility's not new. The facility's been there. She's been doing that job already for some time. And then as soon as she comes back, they say, sorry, everything is going to be on Earth. No off-world duties for
Yeah,
for
no,
you
no.
because
What I'm saying
your
is like
mom
it
said
had.
no. So it wasn't just in existence when Thanos snapped. It
Yeah,
was
you're
in full
right.
swing.
You're right. So
You know?
maybe, or maybe it was just there for 6 months and then Thanos came.
Okay,
I don't
maybe
know.
6
You're
months.
right. You're fucking right though, because the way they posed it, like when she, yeah, you're right. So like check it. When he goes, you're only on terrestrial missions only. So I mean, say Thanos snaps his right the first time when he snaps his fingers. Like for her to make the comment, oh man, shucks, only on Earth.
She's already been off world. She knows aliens exist.
I mean, it makes sense that she's been off world and a bunch of shit's happened. So like, where the fuck were you during Thanos? I agree.
I don't want them to do any Wonder Woman style retconning that's gonna leave us asking, why the fuck wasn't this a thing before? Just keep building forward. Just keep building forward. It actually would have been more fun to watch a sword grow out of the snap, you know.
That would have been cool. But they made it.
Cool.
Yeah, I don't know what they'll do, but hey, you're so right. There's a lot of plot holes when they did that because like how casual they were about it, you know.
They might already have it planned out. I don't know, but it would have been cool. I mean, that could be an arc, you know, the development of Sword over time, to watch it grow and become something powerful like Shield was before.
You can't though because you've already started. You know, like it's already there. You know what I mean? It would have been that would have been a tight show though, right? But I mean, it could go Agents of Shield though. Like I mean, but that show went for a while. But I can't bring myself to watch that show.
No, you see Sword developed over different movies. You know,
okay, that works like a montage.
Doesn't happen. It's just like, hey, you know, we've been doing this. Now we're gonna go work with you, and we got this capability from this other thing or whatever. You know, I don't know.
Yeah, maybe I don't know. It just seems played out. I don't know. I hear you. Maybe hopefully. So Wanda's the bad guy, you thinking? It can't be.
So I remember thinking this before. I was like seeing Wanda really happy, but I really did think somebody was manipulating her into creating that.
Yeah, me too.
And it's definitely it was something that I talked about before. It's the power creep. The purpose of this show is to establish how powerful she is beyond just like moving things and creating red balls. Now she can create reality. You know, she can create things that were not, and even trick people into not just seeing things in their minds or hallucinating, but actually changing their environment.
Yeah, and she rewinds time too.
And she can rewind time.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck, you know, that starts bringing up all kinds of other things too.
Yeah, that's intense that she's able to alter reality, but she does do that in House M.
And Vision kind of knows something is going on. Now, is this her projection of Vision, or is it part of Vision that stayed with her even after she destroyed him?
Well, Vision's is one of those magic tropes. I hate magic so much because you can do whatever you want. So Vision has this magic-y kind of feel to him. He could be the dead person, and then she brought him back, and because he's the mind. Because remember, Vision in particular is made of the Mind Gem, Ultron, Jarvis, and that's it. He's a combination of those three things.
Yeah.
So the Mind Gem's gone. So, but he still has a body for the most part. And you know what? This brought me to another thing. So Vision's made out of pretty much vibranium, but but that's not a thing. They kind of wrote that out because people are able to hit him and shit, and like things when they hit him, he kind of moves. Like when you watch Infinity War,
you're right.
Yes,
reflecting all of it. Yeah.
Yeah, that dude fucking him up. I was like, well, I guess vibranium's not a thing.
Unless he's a vibranium alloy or fiber, in which case you're giving him impurities. We do this with semiconductors.
What would be the point?
Well, with semiconductors, the point of introducing an impurity is because you create it. It's not just a pure conductor; it also becomes an insulator,
No,
depending
I know.
on
I
the
hear
layer.
you. I hear you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But you
So,
watch an Age of Ultron, they're putting the vibranium
well,
for one
you
fucking
create
purpose.
you create a shield, right? But a shield is a rigid structure. Now you create a semi-rigid structure, which now can flex and move and can do different things. But you sacrifice something. Like when Batman gets his upgraded suit in The Dark Knight, all of a sudden, yeah, he's got panels and he's more flexible, but he's got more weak points, right?
All right, all right. I'm gonna throw this at you. You're a writer. You make fucking vibranium robot guy. Why the
Yeah.
fuck did you put him? Why is it you're putting him with vibranium? I mean, Black Panther is rigid, but this shit fucking works. So the concept does apply. The reason you made fucking a vibranium, I mean, it stands to reason. If you can make a Black Panther armor that
I
moves
think
around and shit,
I
you
want
can
to
make a fucking robot.
I want to say there is a time where Vision makes himself rigid. I think he does that to when he hits
Iron Man.
Ant-Man.
Ant-Man,
Is it
yeah.
Ant-Man?
When he
When
yeah,
he
no,
I
it's
think he
Ant-Man.
does
He
that there.
bumps into him. Yeah. I guess, dude, the reason you put vibranium in that motherfucker
But he's
is
he's
so that
magic. You're right, he's magic.
it's magic. It just
He's
explains
magic.
shit away. It's like 90% of what Vision is just a fucking trope, dude. It's like, all right, he like punches a dude and then like becomes intangible and then like, hey, why didn't you do that earlier? He's got the
He should be Superman. He has
exactly.
extra powers.
That's why Martian should be stronger than Superman because he could mimic his power. You know what I mean? Like, and he's intangible, and he could go in your mind. I mean, like, fuck. But then he forgets all these powers. Like, he goes, "I sensed you with my mind," and then, bah, gets surprised. I'm like, what the fuck happened earlier? Spider-Man does it too. If you watch Spider-Man a lot, it's like I have a sixth sense. And he gets surprised. I'm like, what the fuck happened? What happened to your sixth sense then? You know what I mean? Like, oh, you were super strong a second ago, but this fucking person punched you. He's normal, a normal person, or some shit like that. I mean, just same thing. And then I bring you to Vision, and you know what I mean? Like, it's like,
So did she recreate Vision
okay,
and then fill him with whatever soul, or is he just a vision? Is he just a mirage?
mm-mm. Seems to be she repurposes material that's already there. She's shaping reality. It's there, but she's shaping it. So when she sees Vision all fucked up in black and white, like,
It's his body.
it's his body. Like I said, he's two parts. He's missing the mind gem, but he has the whole body. So I mean, like, I think that somehow he has the memories, but then she's repurposing everyone's brain.
I thought she was just seeing him, but yeah, if that's his body and she's
Yeah.
just animating it or
Well,
filling
she's
it
able
with a soul.
she's able to create an entire reality. So like there's people there. They're actually, and that's the cool thing about this episode 4 of WandaVision, is that those are actual people.
Yeah.
And they're thinking there's something else. Henceforth, you remember Rambo, she's in there, she becomes a different person, and then she
Right.
and then she becomes back to, through will or whatever, she's normal again, right? And it's like, so Vision is probably there and she just repurposes them to be Vision, and there you go. I don't know how, like, she's creating realities in each person's head in the sense of like, where's she getting whatever the fuck the character they're playing?
Right, because she had to have watched that stuff, right? And
Yeah, I have a theory.
As far as we know, she didn't grow up watching that stuff.
That's a motherfucking flashback. I guarantee it's going to be her watching TV in Sokovia. There has to be, right? It'd be so stupid if she just fucking made that up.
To make that stuff up that way.
Yeah. I know. Like, whatever. Okay, whatever.
It should have been a Sokovian, a Sokovian.
Yes, they're all Russian.
They're all Russian, complaining about the bloodlines. And
it would make no fucking sense, not at all. You know what's cool is the Asian dude. He does his thing.
Yeah, that's cool.
When he did the card. Yeah, he did it so fast. I was like, oh, Ant-Man, he must have went to the university on the computer.
He did. Yeah. That's cool. I like those things.
I like that they brought what's her name back? The lady from Thor 2 and all that.
Kat Dennings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's funny too, because they brought her back because they can't get, what's her
Natalie
name?
Portman.
Natalie Portman. So they got her. And it's funny that they upgraded her. So she was just a
And
student.
she should be upgraded because
It works.
Well, she'd been studying under Jane Foster since 4-1 came out. I mean,
So you have Jade Foster and the doctor guy.
Yeah.
And they got her. So it's like they couldn't get those two actors. So she's like the third best.
Well, she's good enough. Because
no, I know.
It's also got to be somebody that is already familiar with all these secret protocols and all that bullshit, right?
Well, you would have got that guy.
Yeah, but where is he? What if he's working on something else? What if Jane
exactly?
Foster's stuck in,
they should have should have been a throwaway line. They're like, yeah, too bad, Jane Foster.
Yeah, I'm good, because you do that, and all of a sudden you're locked into whatever explanation you gave, and you trap the writers.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm whatever. That's such a small graph. I don't really give a shit.
I thought it was fun to see her again because she's snarky and she left.
Yeah, you know what's funny is like, well, she had a handle on everything. She goes, "Oh, you're here. That means they don't know what." I was like, it's too much. I mean, I like her being goof because she was never the character to be like, I know everything. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, and
you did have some moments where she said something and they were like, "Yeah,
that's
right,"
but not like that. But I give it to you. She's grown as a character, so I'll
we just didn't get to see it. And we just didn't get to see it. I think the last time we saw her was Thor 2. Right?
Yeah, no, I agree. But it works. I fucking think it works.
Yeah, it was fine.
Yeah. The episode, I mean, like, all in all, was pretty good. I mean, I can't think of anything else. I mean, like, I really enjoyed it. I
really like the idea of Wanda losing her mind and becoming the bad guy.
Well, that's what House of M is. She doesn't like, something happens, and so she decides to make it so Magneto is like the king of the world and shit, and she's like awesome, and she has twins, and they're fucking badass, and everything's badass. I think she was with Hawkeye at the time.
Are her kids real?
Oh, so no. And when she goes back to everything being normal, those kids go away. So it's like it's a bad trade-off. Because she gets with Hawkeye and see, Hawkeye dies. And then so she doesn't have him anymore. But so I don't know how, but she repurposes him to be a person, and then she gets with them and has 2 kids. And then when she says no more, see, the thing is, when she says no more mutants, that's what makes it awesome. She goes, no more mutants, and then bam, all the mutants are gone. Which I don't know what they're gonna do. All mutants. Or I don't know, you know what I mean?
I don't know. It's gonna go down in Doctor Strange, man.
You think that's when they're gonna bring the mutants? They're gonna do it in Doctor Strange or this show? Because
I don't know.
I feel like it's this show.
Ooh.
I mean, like, you have, dude, they're pushing for House of M. Wanda doesn't do any of this shit until House of M. She does House of, and that's the only time she becomes famous. The only fucking time. She has all these other comics. Nobody gives a fuck.
Nobody gives a fuck. And then she does that, and all of a sudden
House of M. Yeah, she changes the entirety of reality to demonstrate how powerful she is. And then when she disappears, all the mutants. Like, that was a big fucking deal. There was only 200 mutants left when she was done.
They could have her do it in reverse.
That's what I'm saying.
They could have her combine the universes or create a bridge or something.
It doesn't matter. As long as she says something to that effect, like, she just, like, brings all the mutants. You're right. I mean, she just repurposes. Now you have 1 billion people with powers and shit. That'd be terrifying, honestly.
Well, I mean, it sounds like Multiverse of Madness is going to be like crazy. Like, they're saying it's going to be scary.
Yeah, I don't know what they're going to do with that, but the idea of Spider-Man, and Spider-Man was pretty tight.
Oh, that'd be cool. Yeah.
No, but that's happening. So I don't know what the fuck, you know? I mean, there's a lot of little things that are happening that they positioned themselves for. Like, so a cool Spider-Man comic is One Fine Day. It's I guess a bunch of people die, and because they know who Spider-Man is after Civil War, you know, because he reveals himself. And a bunch of people die, and then Spider-Man, or Peter Parker's greatest mistake was revealing himself. That's what he thinks, right? So he makes a deal with Mephisto, and no one will know who he is, but he has to give up his love for Mary Jane, so she doesn't know who he is. So that's the thing. So they positioned themselves for that, because when at the end of Far From Home, Peter Parker, Spider-Man,
Right.
there you go. They might create a situation for one fine day, because he could be just losing his aunt, losing this, losing that, and then to get it all back, he has to make a deal with the devil. And that's within Doctor Strange's purview. I mean, because you could introduce
It's actually more within Wanda's, the way that they're setting her up right now.
Well, I don't know. I think this show ends with her bringing mutants. I think that's where the show ends.
No, I don't think it happens here. I don't think.
I do.
Yeah.
I mean, her biggest fucking thing is getting rid of mutants.
We would have heard about a mutant casting or something by now. We would have heard something.
We know that the X-Men are coming. We do know this. We haven't had a casting, but her bringing in mutants is just a story point. They don't have to do anything. It would create a buzz, and then they could do whatever they want after that.
It's funny. I'm getting a phone call right now, and I'm like, who cold calls anybody anymore?
What do you owe you? I'm gonna call you.
No, but it's just it's like the new normal is you text somebody first. You call them if you're dying.
It's true, because I'll say, "Hey, are you busy?" No,
we call. Yeah, who cold calls? And it's only old people that cold call me stuff.
Well, that makes sense, right?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay then. Yeah, you're right though. I only call in emergencies. Other than that, I'll text first, and then I'll call. I think that we've hammered out WandaVision, don't you think?
Yeah, dude, I'm watching. I'm a little bit further into Clone Wars.
Whew, nice.
Fuck, they kill these clones, dude, and I'm just like, these are people.
But they kill other people too.
They die in terrible ways. And then there's this one scene I felt all bad, because it's these two battle droids, and they're walking through the desert, and they're like, they're supporting each other, right, emotionally, as well as droids can. And then one of them like collapses in the sand. He's all, "Don't leave me." And then he gets buried in the sand and dies. And I was like, shit.
I know. There was countless times I was like, I look at my kid, I'm like, the fuck is this? Like, this is some dark shit. Like, it gets dark. Like, there's literally a village of people just getting raped. Like, pillaged.
I'm not there yet. I'm in the middle of the first Mandalorian arc.
Really? That's season 2 or season 3?
Season 2.
Now, when you see the Duchess.
Yeah, you meet the Duchess, and I thought I was lost. I was like, did I miss something? They're saying that they know each other.
Yeah, but they're exposition.
Yeah, but you learn about all that through exposition. I thought I missed something. And then Qui-Gon and I spent a year on that planet, way back. What I really like is the episode where Ahsoka and that other girl, they're kind of trapped. They're buried underground. And Anakin's like, "No, I'm gonna find out. I'm gonna find her. I will rescue her."
This is with the insects, right?
Yeah, the one with the insects. And the other Jedi Master, she's like, "You know what? I hope they're okay, but I'm prepared to lose my Padawan." And they're feeding back to this thing of the danger of attachments, and that Anakin's attachment to Padme is what brings his doom at the end.
Yeah.
And he tells Ahsoka, attachments aren't a bad thing. Attachments are a good thing. That gives us something to work for and people to protect. And then he walks out, and Ahsoka's like kind of torn between, like, yeah, that's true, but that's kind of against what the Jedi are taught. The Jedi are taught no attachments.
Yeah.
Fuck, dude. It's just that I really like how this series works to lay the seeds for what goes on in episode 3.
It takes place between 2 and 3. It ends immediately after 3.
And I did look to see when it came into production, 2008. So it was way after episode 3 came out.
It felt like he was trying to write like he was just trying to pick it up. Right? He was just like, they dropped the ball. This is how you do it. Because when you hear Dave Filoni talk about Star Wars, he's so passionate about it, right? But he's just I'm burping a liar. He's seeing a bunch of shit that's not there, so he's creating the there, which is beautiful because he does do that. And here's the thing. Also about that episode, they are killing sentient beings, and the only reason they're from their point, and this is a thing in Star Wars from a certain point of view. So from a point of view, they're not really. You're in their land, their home, and this is what they do. And the Jedi, they're like, and it's, I guess you could say it's self-defense, but if you're really about no attachments and you're about like the Force, the will of the Force, they should just let themselves die.
Right.
Or let themselves be, and then the Force will choose what's going to be. And if you are about the Force, if you think about it, it's like almost like God. It's not good or evil. It's just there, you know? So really it doesn't care about you per se because there's a grander scheme of things.
Well, Anakin actually talks about that in episode 3 or no 2. He says, you know, that we're encouraged to protect. You know, yeah, they say no attachments, but how can you protect something if you don't care about it? You know, you could almost say that we're encouraged to love.
Yeah. Yeah, and those are some good questions. And I really they never ever debate those philosophies in that show or any of the Star Wars, because in reality, the Jedi are like their duality is their own fucking fault and plot hole. Because here you got a group of people who don't believe in like attachments, but they're protecting things.
They're protecting something, So protecting if you don't.
Yeah, if you don't care, they should be pieces of shit, really. I mean, like, here I am, my village is about to die, and you're not helping me. Fuck you. And then, but they do help. So they do. I mean, what the fuck, you know? Meanwhile, the only people that are like on point, no plot holes, is the Sith. It just makes sense. They're angry.
They're doing what they want to do. They want to get something done. They want to get it done fast, and so they go and they do it. And Anakin goes dark a couple times when he goes to interrogate that dude to find out how to save Ahsoka. He's like, I'm gonna fucking get this out of this dude because.
Oh yeah, well, he does it all the time, though. That's the thing, and like that's not out of his character, and that makes him more like a Sith. I wish they actually had a story plot of the Jedi took over because there was an actual Jedi and they just died. They didn't fight, they didn't protect, they just died, because that's really what would be the opposite of a Sith. Sith actually acts. They just act in their own best interest. The Jedi are kind of like Sith.
In their defense, in the Jedi's defense, you know, you can have empathy without becoming strongly attached to one individual thing. You know, it's like the good of society versus the good of just one thing. You know, and that was something that Anakin had to decide between, you know, his attachment to Padme or his responsibility to everybody else.
I can see that, but when they started cutting the insects down, destabilizing an entire civilization of bugs, sentient bugs, I was like, that is a civilization. And they don't stop there. There's a ton of other fucking races. They just like destabilize them because they're on the side of wrong from their point of view. And they're right for, I mean, like, but
well, you also got to remember the Emperor is there working too.
Yeah.
And he's actual, well, he's not the Emperor yet, right? But
the Chancellor.
He's able to do stuff. I don't think they ever fully go into it, but to cloud the Jedi's, you know.
Well, that's his plan from the beginning.
Huh?
That's his plan from the beginning, though. It just makes sense to muddy the war. No, but muddy their minds with war. But like, it would have been cool if they created a Sith that would just be, he wouldn't be too violent, or he or she, you could understand it, you know, from their point of, he goes, you know, fuck the Jedi. All they do is do this, whatever, and then we're the same fucking thing, you know. We're just on different sides of the same coin. They want to, you know, bring peace, but they'll fucking take down a civilization. And they do that countless times. And you could just draw upon these examples and say, what about these fucking people? They had fucking feelings. They wanted to do that. And then you interrupted that. And like, well, it's because it's wrong. Well, what about them? They had, you know, it was wrong to them, you know? So I mean, like, there could have been a real debate, and the thing is, it doesn't have to be right or wrong. That's the cool thing about sci-fi is it poses the question.
Right.
You know what I mean? To have discussion and discourse,
Right.
and you're supposed to have a good talk about it, but they don't do that. They pick one side or the other, and they just go with it. You know what I mean?
It's interesting to have to think about, like if Qui-Gon had still been there,
What are you thinking?
what decisions would he have made? You know, because Obi-Wan's kind of just following orders. He's not really working independently. He's a badass general and everything, and he
Yeah.
makes decisions for the people in his charge. But so far, he doesn't have a whole lot of agency, individually. I think the first time I kind of get the sense of that is when he meets the Duchess again or sees the Duchess again.
He does everything a Jedi would, though. He does.
Except challenge.
No.
Except challenge really the bureaucracy that's going on at the top.
But he shouldn't, because he's a Jedi.
Because Qui-Gon was probably.
You're talking about. I'm talking about Obi-Wan.
Yeah, I know.
Qui-Gon's closer to a Sith than a Jedi.
Ooh, how do you mean that?
Well, because he does things in a way that's contra of the Jedi, in the sense of like, he goes, I want to teach this kid the ways of the Force. They're like, fuck no. He goes, okay, I'll keep the kid with me, and then he'll just and he tells the kid in Phantom Menace, he goes, hey, watch what I do, watch this shit, just be observant, okay? Basically, I'm not teaching you. You have the Force inside you.
No, but see,
you watch it.
That's him going against a government, but that's not really going against the teachings of the Force.
He's not. No. Don't confuse the Jedi with the teaching of the Force. That's two different things. The Jedi themselves are like, you're right, like a government unto themselves. They're a set of doctrines. You know what I mean? But they're not really about the Force in the way that they should be. They're just
Qui-Gon was. That's what I'm saying. Qui-Gon was more of an old school Jedi.
I think Qui-Gon is more of a rebel than anything, because instead of obeying, because you're the Force, right? You're with the Force, right? You're the Jedi say do this, you're with the Jedi, you should obey what they say, because the Force will do what it's gonna do. But instead of obeying his fucking team, he goes, look, this is what you're gonna do, blah, 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 blah. Basically, I'm gonna teach you without actually having to teach you. So I'm not obeying these. So he, from a certain point of view, he is.
Well, it's because he was caught in a struggle trying to reconcile between that government and that set of doctrines and what he kind of knew and felt what the Force should be.
That's what Sith do.
Locked behind a wall where these 10 guys get to pick who gets to wield the Force and who doesn't. He was like,
but that's what the Sith do. The Sith decide what the fuck is what. They don't have a governing body.
That's why the Council is more like the Sith. They were infected by the Sith, actually, because
the Council
but Qui-Gon was more independent.
That I think he's closer to a Sith than a Jedi, just because he's able to make decisions like a Sith would. Except and then what's funny is it's infectious, because Anakin then starts doing that too as he grows older. That's why he's able to be corrupted as much.
Qui-Gon wasn't making that decision selfishly. If anything, he was like, no, this boy is strong with the Force, and it's my responsibility to make sure that I'm able to mold him.
But it turns into a selfish thing later on. Anakin does this countless times where he's like, it isn't selfish, right? Protecting others, doing this. He always disobeys the rules in a certain kind of way, a certain point of view. I keep using that because that's what he does. He goes, oh, I'll do this, I will do that. I'll choke this guy out, but I didn't go all the way, so I'm okay. And he does that a lot.
Yeah,
just like Qui-Gon. Good. If you would have let Qui-Gon be who he is, he probably did some questionable things. You know what I mean? And in fact, teaching Anakin the way he did is almost, you could say that Qui-Gon planted the seed inside of him to do the thing where he obeys the Jedi Council, but not really. You just kind of go around it.
No, there's a tenet, right? There's a central tenet here, behind the whole idea of the Force. It's not for personal gain, it's for self-defense. and to defend others. Um, yeah. And the council had turned into a government, a bureaucracy that had kind of, you know, become police as a tool of the republic. So yeah, I mean, Qui-Gon wasn't doing it for a selfish reason or to exert power over anybody, taking on Anakin. He was basically just saying that we have a responsibility to teach this kid, and if we don't take that on, then we run the risk of him going to the other side.
Much
You
like
know?
Anakin doing all the good things that he did. He was like, I'm doing this to do that.
Yes,
That's how what
but
led
for
him to
him,
the dark
but,
side.
but for him, there's a slippery slope. You know, for Anakin, we start to see this slope. You know, where he's going to descend and do more and more
That's
bad things.
what,
It's like a Breaking
like I
Bad.
said, like that's what Qui-Gon dies before he can make these decisions. I
No, but
think if given opportunity, Qui-Gon would have kept going, but he just wasn't
going to
allowed to.
no, going would have been just teaching Anakin. I mean, what?
Exactly. The council that said who are part of the Force, they're like, nope, don't teach them because fear leads to this, this, and this, and and then suffering.
They,
And then
I
by
think the Jedi
going
Council, I
against
think the Jedi
them,
Council had moved away from the Force, which was also why their vision was clouded, and they were manipulated by the Emperor at the same time too. I don't think the Jedi Council was what Jedi should be.
there
Basically, a
shouldn't be
military,
there shouldn't be a Jedi Council. There shouldn't be
right?
Jedi, as there shouldn't be Sith. And I'm just saying, like, for if you're part of the Force, you're all about like what gets the Force best is Rogue One, where the guy goes, "I am one with the Force is with me," and the guy's just kind of walking, and whoever wrote that movie,
Breastfeeding, right?
yeah, they understand what the Force is, and that's what Jedi are. In fact, every time they jump off a fucking building and they land on a bunch of cars and shit, that's not them using the Force per se. It's the Force is going to guide me to one of these fucking cars. When Darth Vader is trying to shoot and Luke Skywalker, it's not like Luke Skywalker's a master pilot. It's the Force is getting him to move out of the way to move the story. The Force is the story. Okay, so when you disobey the Force, I guess, and that's what I think that they should have made a good point would be like make the Sith like not bad guys and not good guys, but just make them us because they're more us than anything because they're trying to go against the Force, the destiny that is. And what is man but not a thing that tries to go against destiny? I mean, like, if you just allowed shit to happen, we don't have buildings. We don't have anything. We just be. You know what I mean? What gets us out of bed? What gets us to do shit is to go against what is happening. And the Jedi are more supposed to be with the Force, right? Just let shit happen. And I think
Well,
that dichotomy of writing was thrown asunder. They just like, oh, Jedi are bad, Sith are bad. I mean, Sith are bad and Jedi are good. They just went that direction rather than thinking about it.
So we all have this ability to take life, to kill, to create situations.
Yeah.
But we have to inhibit that because we don't need to do that to survive, right? But we still have that in us. That's why we have sports. That's why we have, boxing and stuff like that, because we still kind of have that in us that
to go against destiny. I have to say,
no, not to go against destiny, to go to go against each other, really, to compete against each other because we want to reproduce, right? It's just
so why is it you're chopping trees down and shit? You know what I mean? Like you're going against nature. Everything we do is going against something.
No, our nature would be to kill each other and to get as much stuff as possible, and that's
that's one set of nature, yes. But like what we do is we try to go against. Like you want to go with the Sith and say that they're just fucking evil, but like in reality, they're just going against the Force. If you have Jedi who go with the Force, then your contra would be to go against the Force. And what does the Force do? It just kind of moves things a certain way.
Well, the thing is, you have these abilities, but should you use these abilities?
Exactly.
Is that going against nature? And that would be a cool argument for a Sith to make. It's like, hey, we have these abilities. We have these awesome things that we can do. Why should we not be allowed to do them? And I don't think we have a character that's come out like that.
No, and we don't, and they don't really explore those ideas. However, I hate to say it, Star Wars 8 kind of goes in that direction, in that vein, in the sense that I hate that movie so much, but it does pose these questions. He goes, "What are the Jedi? The Jedi allowed the Empire to rise, the Galactic Empire, killing millions." And he's right, like if you went with the Force, this is what the Force does. It did this. You know what I mean? This wasn't a thing where like the bad guys won.
Again, Dave Filoni talked about the Force as being balance. So proper use and application of the Force is balance. Dark side tilts that balance. So the Jedi Council was influenced by the dark side of Palpatine. He was there in the background all along, and they couldn't figure out why they were off balance. They couldn't understand or figure out why their ship was doing what it was doing, until it was too late. And yeah, as a council, they failed because they failed to maintain balance, and they failed to recognize the one that could have brought balance and to take care of them the way that they should have.
I think what would be cool is a Palpatine movie or maybe a show, because like it would work really, because it feels like the reason why he's so successful in his master plan is he understood Jedi better than the Jedi understood themselves, and that's what made him so powerful.
Just give us a new fucking character that asks these questions.
Because
I don't want to go back anymore. I want them to go forward the way the Mandalorian does, respecting everything that came before it, but recognizing all of that other stuff, but creating a new character that can ask these questions.
I would have agreed with you if I hadn't watched Clone Wars the last episode, because I didn't think about something. I didn't think of the plan as a good plan to begin with, but like it just like there are questions here. Like the way Palpatine works, it's so wonderful because he kind of gets the Jedi, and that's what makes him able to destroy them. And like, what better enemy than a person who gets you? Like there's this movie, Silent, I think it is, and it's basically these church people, they go to Japan to give God to them and whatever, and all this shit happens, right? So the bad guys are Japanese, right? Apparently, and they're like, they understand the religion better than the priests. That's why they're able to destroy the priests so expertly. It's not like they destroyed the priests. They just killed a bunch of fucking people in front of them, tortured a bunch of fucking people in front of them, and made them renounce God. That's how they were able to win. The winning wasn't killing them. See, killing them would be easy, right? But they understood the religion so well. He goes, look, I've read the Bible. I get it. If we allowed the Bible to propagate, then our emperor wouldn't have the power. So we need to kind of defeat this so that our emperor can rule. That's what we want. That's what works for our country. That's why you must lose. And to lose, I'm going to torture this lady for an hour, and you're going to renounce God. And then they do. I mean, like, there's more to the movie, but I mean, like, that's what they get them to do. Spoiler, I guess. But
yeah, thanks.
That's what makes the movie so good. That's what makes the villain so good. Is that because he's able to defeat the good guy because he understands them. It's not that, and then the thing that makes the good guy lose is because he doesn't understand the villain. He's like, oh, they're just bad. That's it. They're just bad. In fact, if you watch Clone Wars, that's all they do is like, they're bad. And they keep underestimating this guy. And that's why I think there's a beauty in that. And I think that it's easy to write a story in which Palpatine's like a kid and holy fuck, the Jedi didn't save him because of some trade negotiation or some trite explanation of like, why the fuck aren't you beating these bandits? Well, because they're part of this team. And you know how they are, right? We can't do this because of this and that. And you just don't understand. And it's like, my mom's dead. Like, you keep talking, but my mom is dead. And now they're going to kill my brother. And you're like, then that just bores the hate. And then he finds a fucking master and he gets it. He fucking gets it. In fact, it would be awesome if he learned to be a Jedi and then just said, you know what? What's the Sith thing about, huh? Let me go find this shit out. And then goes become Sith. And then he gets the both.
He couldn't do that, though, because then the Jedi would have records of him having been a Jedi.
They didn't have, dude. They didn't have records of Sidious. They didn't have records. They didn't have records of the guy who made the clones. They didn't even understand it because you can falsify the information.
Yeah, but they Cypher Diaz. But
I hear you. I don't want to spoil it, but all that shit could be faked. All that shit could be faked. So basically, he could have been Bob. Oh, the great Jedi Bob. And then he didn't do anything important. He disappeared an entire planet. And in fact, when they try to find this shit out in later episodes, they still don't figure it out. And then, like, you know, Palpatine being who he is, he's like, oh yeah, this shit happened before my time. They try to figure it out, and homeboy dies. I mean, this is you'll forget what I'm saying. I'm telling you, this is way in the future.
All right. Don't tell me anymore.
I'm just saying, like, this guy is the master of muddying shit up. So you could say that he learned Jedi shit and then went to Sith. I mean, there's a lot of hints that he is Jedi, but he just went Sith. I mean, there's hints. I mean, it's like I'm Filoni. You could just see it, and it's not there. I'm maybe reading too much into it, but I mean, it's for someone who was able to take out the entirety of Jedi and then take over the fucking galaxy and then still proceed 30 years later after his death. I mean, it just makes sense that this guy had grit. And to create grit means the bad shit went down. Like, if he was just a bad guy all the time, wouldn't make sense. But what better bad guy is somebody who grew up and you empathize, you know, and then he became what he was. He's like fucking master planning shit, you know, and that's who he is.
Sounds like Anakin Skywalker.
But Anakin isn't really good at planning shit, though. Seriously, like, think about what he does. He kills some children.
Yeah, he's a tool.
He's a tool. He's just really powerful. And it makes sense, right? Because that does make sense, though. You have a brute on your side, someone who's so powerful with the Force. I would want that guy with me as I rule the fucking galaxy. Yeah, top dog. I mean, just I don't know. I mean, you know what? Dune does that a lot. It makes the good guy become a bad guy. I mean, it's good at that. So I mean, those are the best kind of bad guys, are the ones who are good. And the problem is when we do writing, when you watch movies now, they're evolving to where I'm talking about. But back then, it was really just I'm a bad guy, and then the good guy.
Yeah, black hats, white hats.
Yeah, and then that's but now you're getting this whole, the reason I'm a good bad guy is because I was a good guy. I get you fucks. And then, like, to defeat a person like that just makes it that much more better.
Yeah, those are always fun to watch. I think animes always did that pretty good.
Yeah, but
even if you saw it coming, they usually did it in a fun way.
Oh yeah, definitely. Too bad you haven't watched Attack of Titan. You've missed out, my friend.
Get on that shit. I want to, but you know what? This Attack on Clones. I'm sorry, this Clone Wars. Fuck, dude, it's just that.
Go on that journey. I'm with it, dude. It's really good. I play chess while I watch it, so it's really good.
No, I can't. I'm just like watching it. I'm like, shit. I can't believe I didn't watch.
Yeah. I usually have to watch something and do something at the same time. It's so rare for me to be able to watch something and be like, this is totally captivating. It does happen though. Like Attack of Titan. There's anime out there. I'll tell you, there ain't no chess playing on my part. It's that good. Like, they got this anime.
I need to get on Hunter x Hunter. I need to get on
Hunter x Hunter. Shit, yeah, dude. There's another anime, dude. This is pretty good. It's like it's called Rise of the Shield Hero, and that's pretty good. It's like this guy gets taken to this magical world, right? And he's one of the 4 legendary heroes, and the goal is to train him up to defeat these waves of bad guys that come out. And it's like a video game, but he doesn't know that because he's a nerd, but he's never played video games. And so, like, he's there and he's got his power is the shield and all this other fucking anime shit. And then, like, the other 3 guys that he's with, a sword, a spear, and I forgot what. Or an arrow. And they've all played video games, right? So they know what this is. They're like, this is a video game. Look at the top left. And he's like, huh, top left? Is a start. And then he hits a button on his menu and he's like, it opens up and it's like all this shit. So they all have, like, they know it's a video in their head. It's a video game. They just died and then they're in a video game. They don't know this though. They're in a world. They got reincarnated into a video game. They don't know this. So But everyone treats him like shit because he has a shield. Everyone has a weapon, but he has a shield, so they treat him like shit. He ends up being framed for some rape that he never did, and they kick him out. And he's like, "Fuck, I will become the best fucking hero ever." But he has a shield though. That's the thing. So when he tries to attack, it's like nothing's happening. Meanwhile, those guys are getting all powerful. He has to fucking learn. And since he's not a gamer, he's like a nerd. He has to really break things down, and that's why it's good for us, the viewer. He breaks everything down.
He's our proxy.
Yeah, and then he's like, fuck, man, this is so hard to level up. It takes him forever to level up, but he's got that drive because they treated him like, they kicked him out. They think he's a rapist. So no one wants to be his friend. He's like a hero, but a villain in a sense, because like they fucking hate him. And so he hates them too. And so he has to, because he has a shield, he has to rely on this is terrible. He has to rely on other people to make him stronger.
Right.
Because they all level up. So it turns out if he has a person in his party, he'll level up. But like he's a rapist and and so like he's fucked. So he ends up buying a slave. That's the only thing he can do. So he buys a slave, heals her up, and then she fights for him. And he teaches her to fight. And like from her point of view, oh man, this guy's a fucking badass. He saved me from fucking slavery. And and then it goes from there. So she learns how to fight and it levels him up. He's being selfish in a way, but inadvertently being a good guy. You know what I mean? Right. And it grows from there, and he levels up, and then there's like secret moves and special moves. It's like a video game, and that's why that's a good anime. It's called isekai. Like you have action anime, shonen anime, cyber anime. This is called isekai. It's called Otherworld. That's a new genre of anime that's everywhere
like
now.
RPG-ish.
Yeah, he's literally leveling up, like level 32.
Yeah, I know, but that genre, is that like RPG type?
For the most part, it is.
Dragons.
Yeah, definitely, but it's literally leveling up with actual potions and shit. Like there's this one where this guy's a nerd and he dies by a truck. He like saves a bunch of people and he dies, and then he gets reincarnated into a baby, and then and so like he's him, but he's in a baby and like. Yeah, and he fucking like after like he's like 1 year old, but he's been himself this entire time, all the way up to 1, and his body's so weak because he's a baby. So he grows up with all his intelligence, but it turns out because you're a baby, you learn faster. He learns shit real fast, and then so like after about a year, he falls and hits his head, and this lady, his mom, but he doesn't consider her his mom. He calls her by their first name in his head because, he's an adult. He's like, and then like she does a magic spell to him, and he's like, what the fuck just happened? This lady just did magic. So I'm in a place that does magic. And so he's 1 and he knows there's magic. So what does he go and do? He's like, huh. And he picks up like he starts doing magic, and he starts training, like not training, but like, whoa, I can make water come out of my hand. Cool. But if I keep doing it, I die a little. So I'll just keep doing it like a muscle. And he just keeps and he learns magic so he's slowly leveling up. And like he becomes like fucking godly, like within like 4 years old. Because he's an adult in a brain's body, but he acts like a kid because he don't want people to know. And he's a pervert too. So I mean, like there's a lot of little animes out there that are very captivating. Something about starting from nothing and growing, you're good.
Yeah, that's always fun to watch. But because then you have things that happen, but they're earned because you were with them on the way there.
Yes, that's it. And it's world building too.
Right.
I mean, yeah, it's world building. That everybody loves world building. And then you got that. But what separates these these isekais is really the story. So if you have good music and dialogue, you can make these things work. There's 1,000 of these things, so they're not that good. So with good, I'm only talking about the ones that are good. There's one where a guy is the bad guy, and that's it. He's like super powerful, and he just murders people. And then it gets to a point where he slowly becomes not, because he's not human as the avatar. Like he's like a skeleton person, and slowly but surely he becomes less and less human.
This is the same show?
No, different show. It's called Overlord. You should watch it. Get there. Yeah, he just murders people. He actually bribes a bunch of fucking people to rob his tomb so he can murder them. And it's really
Okay.
good. It's really good. And it's like how he slowly takes over the world. That's it. He's the bad guy. At first I thought this is the show where he becomes the good guy eventually. No, you're just the bad guy. And you can see why, because he slowly, like for every time he has an emotion, something happens and he's regenerated or something. So he doesn't have the emotion. So he could be who he is. But for some reason, if he starts feeling like, I don't know, angry, it turns him back into like himself. There's some kind of a spell that he has. So in the game, it's like a thing that he had for his character, but for him in real life, it fucks him over because when he should be sad, he's not. When he should be happy, he's not. So he's constantly in the state of who he is. So he's never learning or gaining anything. He's all powerful. And then thinking methodically, well, I can use these people for other spells. So yes, I'm gonna tear their skin off. And then he does that, It gets to a point where he sees 1 million people and he's just like, oh, you know what? I've never done this spell before, but I'm gonna do it. And he kills like 1 million people to create like these things. And he's like, it worked. But because he can't have emotion, and it's subtle, it's super subtle too, because like you just slowly see him do more evil shit over time. Like they even create other characters in the story, like Clone Wars. Like you built up a clone and then they kill him. Yeah. They built up characters like, oh, I'm the fucking hero. And you're like, yes, I want this guy to win. He had a shitty life. And then they gets tortured, mutilated. It's fucking terrible because he's the bad guy, So, the anime is cool because like there's a shit ton of ugly shit out there, but there's individual things out there that are so much better than anything that's out there to watch. I'm just saying.
Hey, like one,
that's the hard part right there. Best thing to do is look at the top 100 or, the top 5 or some shit like that. Usually it's good.
I don't know if I have time to jump into series, man.
No.
I keep putting more shit on my plate too. So
I know, I hear you. Yeah, you're watching Clone Wars. That's a good start, but yeah, Attack on Titan. That's nothing better. You know what I mean? Like this. Yes. I don't even know what to fucking say. I'm not gonna talk about it because it's so.
Yeah, good. Don't talk about it.
No, it's on Netflix. You should watch it.
It's on Netflix.
Oh fuck yeah! I did. I said it the first time. It is.
The new seasons are coming out on Netflix.
Wait, you've watched season 1?
I've watched 1 and 2.
Oh, really? You watched season 1 and 2?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I started watching 3 and then I stopped.
3 is the worst.
That might be why I stopped. I think
it's the most important arc, but it's the boringest. It is the most important.
Like I don't need to watch the first season because I watched it. I watched it like 5 or 6 times.
Okay, then you're good. You're fucking good.
The second one, I don't really remember.
You don't need to. The 3rd season is the most important because it explains a lot of the story, and but it's boring. It's fucking boring. They have good moments though. They built up moments though to make it like, oh my god. But like other than that, to get there, you have to have nothing going on in your life to watch that shit. I mean, you got Clone Wars.
I'm gonna watch it, but I don't know. I don't know if the new seasons are. I think I think the 3rd season is on Netflix. Now that I think about it.
No, the new season is not.
It's just the first 2 then.
No, just the first one. The other 2 aren't, unless you have what's that? Virtual VPN.
Oh, VPN. Oh,
yeah, because you know how the regions restrict.
Yeah, what country has it?
Fuck if I know. You just have to have the new season's on Netflix if you have the VPN.
Yeah, I'll look into that.
I wonder why fucking Netflix does that.
Bastards.
All right, we're fizzling out. Let's call it. Unless you have a topic.
No, just a realization. I was watching, I don't remember who it was. Did you know the music when Wonder Woman is flying
is from Sunshine?
Sunshine? I was like, wait, what? I haven't seen Sunshine. I haven't seen it. I looked at the cast too, and I was like, yeah, there's a lot of good people in this fucking movie.
That's a good movie.
I was like, really? They just lifted it and put it on their AAA, badass
Yeah.
tentpole
Yeah.
movie release.
You know what's weird is they at first when they took the what is it what's it Batman versus they do take Batman versus Superman song. I don't know why. And then they took Sunshine. I'm like, huh? They took two songs.
I'm wondering if they filmed that scene after. I don't know. Afterwards, I was like, this. Just give me another reason to hate that fucking movie and that whole production.
I know, dude. It's
But
such a shitty movie. It's such a shitty
depressing.
movie. I've seen people like I hate when people try to bring it up as a good movie. And a lot of people are trying to like, oh, it's the best movie ever made. And I'm like,
No, I
what?
was like, I enjoyed it,
No, you didn't.
but then the more I thought about it, I was like, that was dumb.
It was dumb. It was dumb.
I immediately had problems with them bringing back Steve Trevor in another dude's body. Right away, I was like,
Why? But why?
I was like, she's having sex with that guy. Why is that a thing? Oh, and then somebody broke it down the way me and you broke it down, that it should have been the conflict for Diana should have been getting to keep this gift of Steve Trevor, not in some other guy's body, but as Steve Trevor, or saving the world.
Oh,
And
that's a good trade.
yeah, she would have had to give that up. But yeah, somebody else talked about that too, and I was like,
Yeah, and like it sucked that the wall when the guy wanted the wall and it was created, and then like and then like you created a wall out of nothing, but you couldn't create Steve Trevor without nothing. I don't know, for no reason. And then like I was just like, wait a minute. So I was talking to my wife the other day about this too. I was just like, how come he's able? Because I watched the trailer for some reason. I don't know why. He goes, I'm able to take what you most want, the monkey paw. I take what you most want to give you what you want. So that's why he's able to do that, right? And I'm like, so the thing that Wonder Woman wants most, other than Trevor, is her powers. Like she didn't strike me to be the person who wanted her powers.
Yeah, that made no sense.
If anything, it should have been like, I don't know, her virtuosity. So she should have been more evil.
And the monkey's paw thing, it's good only because the way that they do it in the original stories of the monkey's paw,
the Twilight Zone,
it's better. It's because it was like this guy said, "Oh, I want $200," and the next day he finds out that his kid dies.
Yeah,
but that it was because of an accident, and there was a payout of $200.
Yeah, it's a story to teach lessons, right? Like the wise man journey, like the village, like why you got a lot of money, but people die,
right?
And then the guy keeps saying, we'll see, instead of saying, aren't you happy? We'll see. Aren't you sad? We'll see.
Yeah.
Same thing with the monkey's paw. It's like, oh, this is a good thing. But what? Those are two different things. It was just a plot device to fuck. I don't know why. Like why they went there.
They didn't have to do that. But
I think I saw Femento and he said something like they tried to go for. I don't know who said it. They were going for fun.
Oh yeah, they went too far in the fun direction.
They wanted fun, but they didn't know what they were doing.
Right.
But they know they wanted fun.
Yeah.
And then
they fund it all up.
But they didn't make it fun though. That's the thing.
No, it wasn't. Like I said, I was like enjoying it, but I was watching with my brain off, and when I turned my brain on, I was like, my brain was not off for that whole Steve Trevor thing, dude. The whole time I was like, this is not. How do you justify this?
Well, no, the thing is that it strung you for 2.5 hours. It strung you along, and you're waiting for that payout, right?
Right.
Because you watched Wonder Woman, so here you are watching this one, and you're like, oh, this is gonna be good, right? And then you're still waiting, and then it ends, and then it was crap. Right. Same thing. Like my argument with WandaVision was like the payout is because I've watched 10 years of Marvel. So here I'm watching your show, and you've gave me an hour and a half of nothing. And then the next episode kind of pays it off. But I mean, like that's what I'm talking about right there. Is like there's this fucking movie just kind of dragged you along, gave you nothing.
I'm looking forward to this next episode of WandaVision.
What? Do you see a trailer or something, or are you just looking forward to it?
No, I'm just looking forward to it. I'm deliberately. This is one of those things I'm trying to stay away from trailers and stuff.
I've been watching The Stand. The Stephen King. You know anything about that? Well, Stephen King comes out with this thing called The Stand, and it's supposed to be real popular. I've been watching it, and then I'm on episode 8, and I came to the realization is I don't like this show. like in the sense that like I know where the show's going because I remember the TV miniseries. You know, the Stephen King had like It and Tommy Knockers and all those movies on the the NBC. They had those movies back then. Okay, so you got the Stan was one of those movies, right? And then or those miniseries, and I know where the story is going, right? And then I'm watching this show, and it seems to be like they're just trying to make a dirtier version of his movie, but not really developing any of the characters. And I found that if I have a story where I'm not invested in the characters, I don't like said story because I know where the story's going, but I don't care about any of these characters. There's not one person. And I was like, I think that's what you got to have. Like, because like Lost has a terrible story, but those characters are fucking awesome.
Right.
And then so when you watch Lost, you're with these characters. You want them to win. And when they ultimately fail, you're just like, fuck, you feel that.
Right.
So I think everyone who's watching this, if you make a fucking story, make them characters good as fuck. At least if your story sucks, you can achieve good shit. Because if you have a great story and shitty characters, I don't think you can ever fucking succeed.
Yeah, right. But it's got to be an interesting character that you don't have to identify with them like, oh yeah, I know exactly what it's like to feel. No, I know what it's like to want to achieve something, or I know what it's like to feel loss.
Yes.
Or something along those lines.
Something where you're invested.
Yes. And then just make sure that character is being presented with these challenges and that they stay true to their character or they change over time or those things change the character over time. That way, when something else happens later on, you're like, ooh, he's still traumatized from this other thing that happened before, and it's just that way we grow with that because that's what happens to us.
Yes.
We don't just do something that's out of character for no reason. We are in our character, but we are affected and changed and chiseled and reformed through our experiences. That's why we're not bored with our own lives. Hope not.
Did I tell you the story at work where I was with this guy? Did I tell you this? Where the front office lady came in the back just to fucking try to get me for some stupid thing? Did I tell you this?
I don't remember. The last work story I remember was when that guy came in yelling and you wanted to.
So all right, I check in this patient, right? We're doing a drug test, and I really hate that front office lady so much. I don't know if I've said this before. She's young, so I feel like it's kind of like karma that I was like that too when I was younger, so therefore I'm getting karma. So I get him in the back, and then I have this as paper, and I see that on his phone number he puts 5 numbers instead of 4 at the end of it, right? And I'm like, because he scribbled one out, and I go, it looks like you put 5 numbers here. I need 4. So what's your last 4 numbers of your cell phone? And he goes, oh yeah, okay, my bad. So I have chicken scratch. It sucks. That's what he says, right? And he goes, I have a new phone. Let me go look it up. I'll tell you my last 4. I go, cool. This fucking lady heard that. She heard bits and pieces of the conversation, and she says she could come out. She comes out and she says to me, she goes, "Hey, Kevin, how many numbers are in a phone number?" And I'm like, what? And because I'm confused on what's happening right now, because my job right now at this point is talking to this patient talking to me. There should be no third person. There's no third person in this. I don't need to hear how many fucking in front of the patient. I don't need to hear this. So she says that, and then I'm looking at the guy. I'm like, I don't understand what's happening as we're talking. And I'm looking at the patient. Patient's like, he's confused. He's like, huh? What do you mean? How many numbers are in a phone number? And then she goes, well, you said there's 5 numbers in the last 4, not 4. And we're like, is happening? And this is in real time, so I don't really know what to say. I mean, like, because she heard parts of a conversation,
Right.
assumed that I said there's only 5 numbers in a fucking phone number, and decided to jump into the conversation to try to get you that gotcha moment. I
Right.
gotcha. Which she often tries to do. And I go, what the fuck is happening right now? And I'm looking at him, and he goes, and the guy's like, I work with this all the time. Hey, you need to go. Just go. And I looked at her, and I was confused too. I was like, go away. Just go away. And then she's like, yeah, but you don't know how many numbers are in it. And I'm like, go. Like, get it the fuck out of here. like I was like so confused by that. And then, okay, so she leaves, and like I'm moving forward with the patient. We got the phone number figured out because it wasn't that complicated of a thing. Shit gets done, and like I'm in the bathroom, and I'm pissing, and I'm thinking about what just happened, and I'm laughing because I'm like, what the fuck did this bitch do? She just thought like I didn't know how to do a phone number. She just heard part of a fucking sentence and took it upon herself to try to get me in front of a guy.
In front of somebody, yeah.
Yeah, and I wonder if she feels embarrassed about that. But ever since then, I was just like, every time she talks, I'm just like, oh, I don't want to hear you.
What a trip.
It's like you got caught in a moment of stupidity against your will. Like, it wasn't like
she shot herself in the foot.
Yeah, but you're trapping me in your stupid talk. You know what I mean? Like, I was just like, what? Where am I right now? What's happening? Like, I didn't put myself in this position. You put me in a position to listen to your stupid talk. I'm like, and I thought about that. This is the grander scheme of things. How many moments in life where you're just caught in a moment where you did nothing, and then here you are having to just shovel shit for someone's stupidity? Because it's a moment that shouldn't exist. Because it's not like I crash in your car and I'm stupid. It's like, open the trunk so I could close the door.
I want to say it has happened. I can't think of anything off the top of my head though.
No, because it's not
a normal thing though.
Yeah, but it's not even a real thing. It's all abstract. It's like, I said some words, you misinterpret words, and then you turned it into we need to be in this moment right fucking now. Ride or die. We're talking about nothing right now. That's a thing. Like you and me are now I have locked you into stupid. So it's like,
it really, all it was she felt an opportunity to make you feel inferior, to come in and check you and try to throw her weight around, to make herself
over nothing. Say she did. Made me feel stupid. Say she did. Just say, over what? Like, over what? Like, what grand scheme though? You know what I mean? Like.
Well, that's how petty some people are. I mean, they feel like they need to own somebody, even if it's over something super small.
It's
that little victory just makes them feel big for some reason.
It's like if I knocked next door and I said, you know what? Do you understand what you don't understand? They're like, huh? Who are you? No, I know. I'm Steve. But do you understand what you don't understand? I don't. What? Because I'm just saying fucking words in a question. And I just went to your door. And I have just engaged you. And now we're stuck in this stupid moment that I am eating your time up because I just said a random vague thing with a question mark. And now, what do you do at this time? Do you just shove the door? Like, I mean, I guess you can. I guess you can do that. But like, I wonder if that's a thing to do. Like, just to go to random people and ask a vague question and just keep them in that moment. As long as you can.
She just thought she was going to catch you, being stupid or something.
I know. But can you imagine? Just imagine if that's a thing that you would do. Like, you would just grab somebody and keep them in a moment of stupidity and just keep them there as long as you can. just to do it. I mean, that's a great prank because only you would understand what's happening. They would have no understanding. You were like, open the door, open the trunk. What? Wait, what's happening right now? You're like, and just keep going. Just keep adding one random fucking thing after another. And then to see how far you can go. And then if you can go for 5 minutes, I mean, who won in that situation? Right?
I have wasted people's time before, my students.
Okay.
On purpose. But I do it in a funny way. Because like I'll catch them doing something stupid like throwing a door open or something, or knocking over a trash can because they're hauling ass to lunch line or something.
Yeah, okay.
I'll be like, hey, come here, man. You knocked over that trash can. They're like, oh, my bad. Like, okay, so who's supposed to pick it up? Oh, okay, I guess I'll pick it up. And they pick it up, and I'll be like, see, I mean, it's not your responsibility. And I'll go in circles, and I'll be like, now you're stuck here talking to me, and I'm wasting your time. And instead of getting to the lunch line on time like everybody else, now the line is way too long because I kept you here for the 30 seconds. Doesn't that suck? They go, yeah. So I'll do stuff like that, but I don't end up on their bad side.
No, but that's not. I don't think that's petty per se. You're trying to teach them. No,
that's not petty. That's not petty. But I've done something like that, but it was super obvious. It wasn't a gotcha moment. If I saw a kid knock over a trash can or push somebody or whatever, I'd stop them and I'll talk to them and not write them up right away. Or
what I'm saying is though, can you imagine getting someone in a stupid moment for no reason? For no reason at all. Like just, I mean,
being in your position where you caught her in a stupid moment.
No, anyone. Just go to somebody and say, like, "Hi, my name is Kevin." And they go, "Hi, my name is And you're like, "So, do you understand?" And they're, "What do you mean you understand?" Right now, I've already won because I'm just making up shit. That person I've just eaten some of their time, and I just keep going. And I go, sour cream and chips. When you dip them in dip, they taste really good. Are you just saying things and you just keep going? You just keep fucking going as long as you can. You just look for whatever avenue you can. You just like say, now let's talk about Jesus. And they're like, but you just keep going. And they're just like, but every time they try to eject the conversation, you just glop onto something else. Just keep going.
They go, hey, Mr. Nava, what time is it? There's a fucking clock behind their head, right?
Yeah.
What time is it? You're like, yep. Like,
exactly.
What time is it? Exactly.
There you go. You got it. Yeah.
Isn't that cool? You tell me, isn't that cool? Yeah. I've done that too.
Yeah, I hear you, but I'm saying go to random people and do that.
Yeah, no, I don't want to get punched in the mouth.
Why would you get punched in the mouth? Because
they're going to pick the wrong one.
No, if you get some old lady, or not an old lady, that's fucked up. But you get like a 30-year-old.
They don't got a whole lot of time as it is.
Get a 30-year-old and then start asking random questions. They're going to be like, huh? And like, it can't be evasive. Like, when you sleep, I'll be back at that time. Like don't go Sugar style, but just be like just something that sounds kind of like, do you know what time the weather's happening? And they're like, they'd be like, what?
Now?
Wait, what now? What do you mean? When the winter, when is winter? And they'd be like, it just get real bit. Well, how many digits are in a phone number? And they're like, wait, what? Like, why are you asking me these questions?
What's the shape of your favorite color?
Exactly. That's a good one. That's actually a pretty good one. Because when she asked me how many digits in a phone number, I was like, I mean, I got you. I can do math, but at the same time, I'm like, wait, why are you asking me this? Like, I couldn't get past that. Like, I mean, like, I was stuck because I was like, what? Wait, why would you ask me that?
Question?
Like, what does this mean? Like, if I say 10, are you going to say, no, bitch, it's 11 because there's a fucking there's a country code or some shit like that?
Right.
Yeah. So, I mean, but why are you asking me that right now? I don't know. I just thought that was hilarious because I was like, I bet there's questions out there that are very answerable, but you would be so thrown off by why you would
it got
ask that.
asked.
Like, how many meals a day? And you're like, wait, what? Fucking, but wait, why? Why would you ask me 3 meals a day? You're like, but no, how many? And you're like,
How long?
you're like, yeah, you just go to Taco Bell, right? And then, like, when you go to order at the drive, hey, everybody who watches Podcastforwe, do this. Go to Taco Bell and order food, right? And when they go, how can I help you? How many meals a day? They would then say, what, sir? How many meals are there in a day? Well, we're serving lunch right now. You're like, lunch or dinner? But there is no dinner at Taco Bell.
No.
You're like, well, I guess lunch. And you just keep going with it. You're like,
What time does lunch end?
yeah, exactly. And then you just be like, well, how do you get the bell at a taco? Then they would then actually that'd be too far. That'd be too far.
I don't want.
I think that'd be too far. But I think that if you go if you just stick to like random questions that sound answerable, I think that you could keep this ball going. You'd be like, how many meals a day? When's dinner over? I want the dinner menu. What's on the dinner menu?
Yeah, I think that'd be a good one. Are you guys doing breakfast or lunch? Lunch. What time does lunch end?
Yeah, they're like, let me get back to you on that. And then you just be like,
I have to ask my manager.
We're like, but if I order a carne asada, and then you have to, no, it's Taco Bell, right? So you have to come up with something that doesn't exist. But if I get a carne asada Mexican pizza, how does that come with Mountain Dew? And then you just be like, what, sir? Because like there's sometimes I'm listening to somebody talk and I'm like, wait, what? That doesn't even make sense. Like my foot's hurt. Can I get an STD test? And I'm like, but that doesn't make sense. Or I'll hear something like, I was coughing, so I need an x-ray of my foot. And I'm like, I think we missed some sentences here.
I have a problem of assuming sometimes that the person that I'm talking to heard all the thoughts in my head before I decided to ask something. So I think I do that on accident sometimes.
You know what? There's truth to that.
And I'll be like, oh wait, no, you didn't hear the first part of the conversation in my brain.
You know what, though? There's truth to that, though. When you're talking to somebody, you just assume they are on your level. But in reality is they're not.
Not a level on my page.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
I left them on page 10 and I went to page 13 and they're like, okay, yeah, like you said, there's some sentences missing there.
Yeah. You know what? I do that too. And I get angry at them for not knowing where I was at because I was like, obviously, because of this, and that, I'm here now. How could you not have figured that out? But here, you know, and it's just like, well, you know what? You're just not there. You know, I'm on page 10 while you're on page 1.
You know what's cool is when my girl picks up on what was missed. You know, and
that's a tricky move.
Like, you know, my bad. I realized that you didn't even realize. I didn't even preface it with like who I'm talking about. She goes, no, I kind of figured it out. And I'm like, all right. I don't know if it's because I'm 38 years old now or because I bashed my face into the concrete and it's just a long-term CTE repercussion, but
well, you get like, I think the human brain works in a way where it shortcuts things and it gets to places really fast. Like you know how they do the little word puzzle where it's a word, but it's all mixed up, but it only has like a few of the letters right. I think our brains do that with concepts because like you'll be talking and then you're like over here all of a sudden when like most people, they need to kind of get to those steps. And I've been learning this over time is like when you're talking, and I talk to a lot of people because I have 2 different professions when I have to deal with people. And I noticed that over time, like if you speak too fast, it's not going to happen. You need to get them to get to that thought process. So you have to say something like, they ask, what's the price of this? Then you just go basically this. But if they're like having a confusion on like, okay, for instance, like a COVID test, I go, the COVID test is 3 to 5 days. That's when you get the results. They go, well, I have an airplane trip and I need the test back in like 2 days of the trip. I go, okay. Our test is 3 to 5 days. And then they go, well, I got to go on this trip and I need it within 2 days. I go, that's good. So plan it accordingly. They want me to do the thinking for them. They really want me to say, come on this day to get to this day, but I'm not having it. So I just go, okay, 3 to 5 days. He goes, I don't get it though. And I go, what don't you get? Because I already know we're there. I know. I see what they want me to do.
Be your travel. They want you to be their travel agent or some shit.
Yeah, and I was just like 3 to 5 days. And he goes, well, how about, but my trip's on Monday. And I go, plan accordingly. And I go, I know, but you said it was 3 to 5 days. I go, exactly. And they go, but I need to leave at this date, so plan accordingly. And then they just get mad and they hang up. And I'm like, I don't fucking care because there's a million of you that want the test.
Right.
You know what? If you can't fucking figure out 3 to 5 days of your fucking trip, then I guess we're not the place for you. You know,
they
whatever.
might have to go out and shell some money to pay for a rapid test or a next day test.
Exactly. All right, man. I think we should end this. I think I had one more thing. You know what? That same girl though, she did this thing where she was like, I go, where's this patient? And because I don't know, because it's just me and her. And I go, where's this patient? Are they in the car? And she looked at me and she goes, well, I can't see them from where I'm at, so I don't know where they're at. And I go, okay. And I'm like, I don't know what the fuck that was, but that wasn't a simple I don't know would have sufficed. But the attitude didn't need. But whatever. I need to get my job done. So I got my job done and I pulled her aside. She's very young, so I get it. So she doesn't really understand a lot of shit. So I pull her aside. I'm not going to like fucking tell the boss or anything like that. So I pulled her aside. I go, look, I know you're going to take this the wrong way. So, because I already know. I'm wasting my fucking time. So I go, look, I know you're going to take this the wrong way. But look, you're rude. When I ask you a question, it's not like I'm fishing for an answer. I want an answer, or I don't know.
Right. I
don't need an attitude. She goes, I'm not giving you attitude. If I wanted to give you attitude, I could give you attitude. And I go, can you understand? I know you can't understand this, but that's very offensive. If I tell you you're having an attitude and you say, I can have a bigger attitude, it's the equivalent. That means, and I explained what equivalent is because I think she's dumb. I go, equivalent means equal to, okay? If I say something that bothers you and I say, well, I didn't say anything that could bother you, but I can if you want. Would you want that? Would you want a person to say something worse than what you find offensive? And she goes, she's just staring at me because she doesn't understand what's going on.
Right.
She doesn't understand. And I was just like, look, what you are doing, me, Kevin, is perceiving it as a 10. So what I need you to do is take it down to at least a 7. So if you're thinking you're giving me a 4, give it a 1. And ever since then, she's taken it down a level, but she brought it back one time because she rewrites history. She says, because that's how like these children do. She goes, Kevin snapped at me this one time, and I go, no. I explained that you were rude. Snapping is like saying something that doesn't mean any sense. I articulated my thought, meaning I explained my thought, because I think articulate's a little bit too big of a word. So I explained my thought. I gave a reason why it makes sense, and that's the way it is. And then I thought to myself, what do I give a shit? Because as I'm talking, I got caught in your loop. Because no matter what I say, won't achieve anything.
The problem there is that you're talking to an adult, who should know better, right?
Yes.
When I'm talking to my kids, students, sometimes they do things and it can be perceived as rude, right? And I'm like, and I'll explain to them. I go, the way that you should ask for something is this way, or the way you should do something is this other way. They go, what's wrong? Why are you telling me this? And I'm like, look, you don't know. That's why I'm being patient with you. I'm not writing a referral. I'm not calling home. Nothing bad is really happening to you. I'm just letting you know. because eventually if you do this to somebody else or in a job interview or like on a a college entrance, one of those essays or whatever,
Yeah.
you're not going to get the result that you want, and you're not going to understand why. You're 11 or 12 or 13 right now, and I'm trying to help teach you, not just science but about people stuff too. And a lot of times they'll get it, but a lot of times they don't.
Yeah, that's
And
true.
that they think they're not giving attitude, right? But
Of course.
I'll be like, no, that's, I go, when the way that you're answering things, and moving your head and rolling your eyes and doing all these other
Yeah.
non-verbal cues, it's not just locked in what you're saying, the words that are coming out of your mouth. I could write it down and it sounds okay, but the way that you're gesturing and emoting, it says a lot more. And so no, it comes across like this way, and I'll make sure to share it with your parents if you want me to go there. And then but again, it's me trying to teach them, you know how to treat people, and I don't think anybody's ever taught this girl how to treat people. And she might be one of those that just escalates. So like if you were to answer her back the way that she had answered you, she wouldn't understand why. She would think that she had been wronged. It's unfortunate because again, she's an adult. um I think you should have grieved her. I think you should have been like, hey, you know what, I asked her where this patient was and she gave me this other answer that I think is inappropriate. And I don't know if she's got problems with me. I don't know if I've done anything to wrong her in the past, but uh this is this is this is a kind of aggressiveness that I don't feel comfortable with you.
I hear you, but like in the in the end goal though is like you're trying to work with people, right? And if you take it to that next level, I always assume, and my feelings are is like you kind of lost really, because what do you gain out of that? Well, she gets reprimanded, whatever, but you don't really gain anything out of it because no matter how much you push on a person, they're gonna be who they're gonna be, and your way and your understanding is just to work
Or you could
like
work within
around.
her. Yeah. You could work
Yeah,
within. You could just kind of like figure out, how you interact with that person. But if that
exactly,
person starts making things uncomfortable at work,
exactly, yeah,
when you're in a position where you're like, I don't want to have to interact with this person, but I have to,
yeah.
then that's when you kind of got to start documenting things and creating a trail.
I hear
Um,
you.
because it could also be that the people above her want to get rid of her, but they need people like you to go in, and they can't ask for it. They can't say, hey Kevin, because then that might look like some kind of like they're out to get her.
You
you
know what?
know
I hear that the understanding of that, but I mean, like the pro, it's pointless. It's pointless in the sense that like it's unnecessary. It's just like it's a thing that where she will mature and then she will just mature out of that, hopefully, right? And for me to, I feel like I bring myself down a level if I actually, because it really didn't bother me, but I feel like if I did actually do something and move forward, then I have moved myself down a level because I have effectively let her change who I am because I really don't care.
Oh
I
yeah,
just felt
if you don't care, you're just like, whatever about it. But it's what I'm talking about is like because that kind of aggressiveness or even passive aggressiveness, it's a form of bullying.
it is.
And
Yes.
but you're equipped to deal with it. You're just like, man, fuck you.
Yeah.
Somebody put somebody put something pretty bad. They put like faggot teacher as a Kahoot name, right? And so I shared it today. I didn't tell them exactly what it was, but I said, look, there was 18 students in class that day. There was 18 names in that Kahoot quiz. Only one of them was an inappropriate name who I booted. It wasn't hard to figure out who it is. I told him. I go, I didn't care. I go, I thought it was funny that somebody would sabotage their own grade because I didn't give them credit. I
Yeah.
go, I thought it was funny that somebody would sabotage their own grade. I don't know if maybe they made me feel bad. At the end of the day, I get to sit down with my 75-inch, go ride in my Porsche and swipe my credit card, for whatever I want to get. That doesn't affect me. I still feel good at the end of the day. I just thought it was funny that somebody would do that, almost feel bad for them, because
Well, I think that they were doing something that they didn't know that would have a repercussion like that. And you were there to be the person who said no.
Yeah, we did a Kahoot again, and nobody put anything inappropriate this time.
Well, yeah, I mean, like that makes a kind of sense. Oh, you know what though? There's this one. It's something between you and me though. Like when it comes to like
We're recording.
teaching.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
No, when when there's a thing where you're teaching somebody and you want to kind of teach them that extra layer that's unnecessary. Really, you could just say, hey, you do it, 1 + 1 is 2. But let's think about what we're doing here. We're adding something together. And so in the future, you're going to want to add things together. Exactly.
Show them why 1 + 1 is 2.
Yeah, exactly. And so like I was teaching this one this lady who was interning with us, and like I was just there to cover, and I noticed that she's learning, she's still in the learning process, but they're treating her like she knows shit. And I was like, I've seen this before. So I was like, I was watching what she did. I was correcting little things here and there. But I know this though. This is the thing that a lot of people, when they're trying to teach us whatever the new thing, there's an ego to it. So it's like, so basically she goes, oh, I was reading your analysis, and then this one person came and they reread it and they changed it. And I go, look, what this is what the, and I was like, look, this is she goes, is this right or wrong? And I go, it's not. This is what matters. You come into a new place, and whoever's there, they're gonna just scrutinize whatever you do. Meaning they're gonna see what you do and then try to pick out the weaknesses of it. And your goal is to survive that. Because if you start attacking or saying, oh, I don't get it or whatever, or I think you're doing it wrong, or opposition, then everyone's going to think you don't know what you're doing, even though you do. And there is a right and there is a wrong, but there is more of a right and a maybe less right. And sometimes you'll come into people who kind of know not right, but less right. And there's a lot of them. So they dictate what you know. And I was like, so yeah, when she came over and she said, yeah, it wasn't this, she did and I was giving her like tricks of the trade. I'm all like, yeah, she could be right in one scenario, but because she's been here longer, she will be right, even though you're right too. And your goal is to just go with it. So basically, don't take anything people are telling you as an attack. That's the way they're doing. That's what they've been taught, and that's what they're doing. So when you go to say, no, you're doing it wrong, even if you're right, you're actually doing it wrong. Just agree with whatever people are saying, and then be friends with them. In fact, if they tell you something that you already knew, act like that was a big deal. Like, oh man, that's great, because you're stroking their egos, right. And then at the end, you're going to be let alone to do whatever you want. And that's a cool thing. Like so where I work, there's like this, there's a stat for your charts, like how good you are at charting notes, patient, sore throat, all that. And everyone is graded and everyone can see it. So if you suck, you could see it. And if you're good, you're good. And like for when I first got there, it was pretty bad because I didn't know, like there's like a little bit of a tweak that I didn't know. And then once I learned it, I was like back on top. And like, so this one chick, and I had been there, I've been at this company for like a year. She goes, well, and like, we're both like, so here us two are trying to teach this one girl who doesn't know anything. I go, this is all you have to do is this, this, and this. And then she goes, no, but she taught me it's this way. And then I go, that's cool. I mean, they're both right, but I have the highest rating. So, I mean, hey, you could do that other. Yeah. And it's all, and then when I looked at her, she was like, well, I was taught this way. And I looked at her and I go, you saw the KPI. Who's number one? So, I mean, like, when I say something like, the chart goes this way, when who's number one? And like
you're qualified, you're qualified. Yeah. You're not talking out of your ass.
Yeah, and that's a thing that I've never seen before, because usually you could just say something and you don't know. It's hard. But when they put everyone's rating in the front. Like, and so everyone could see it. So it's like your dick is there. You know what I mean? Like, and you're like, my dick is bigger. I'm sorry. And that's just the way it is. And it's true. And like if it was just the 1 month, I get it, but it's like every month. And so every month you just see how big my dick is, you know? And then so when I say something to the effect of like, yeah, you could do this. And then like, but what I do is I don't attack and I don't say anything like that. I really was just like, well, both ways are right. I'm just saying you just save more time if you do it this way. Or you could do it the other way if you want to. I don't care. I don't have a dog in the fight. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, I mean, you're gonna get paid at the end of the day, and you're still gonna be, you know.
Yeah, and then like it got to a point where like someone would say something like, "You're not supposed to do that." I'm like, "Okay, cool." I don't care. I don't. It's right there. And then like a lot of people like to talk shit too. It was funny too. At the end of the day, they were talking shit about this lady, and I go, "Well, she's kind of new. She hasn't been working. Well, she's been here for like 2 weeks." And I go, "And I mean, like most of us have been doing this for years, you know, all because she's been at this place for 2 weeks. You think she should just know everything? I mean, that's absurd. I mean, nobody knows everything after 2 weeks." And then she goes, "Well, I did it. Well, I'll go, well, you're a badass." And she's not. I mean, like not everyone can be a badass. I mean, like you're the best. There you go. Even though like I have higher ratings, I'm like, you're the best. You are awesome. There you go. She is not. She is average. Can we just like give her an average expectation? You know, she doesn't know everything. There, that's good. And everyone's like, "I don't like your optimism and your positivity." And I'm all like, I want the world to burn. And like in my head, I'm thinking that. I'm like, I want the world to burn. I want the economy to crash. I want society to fucking devolve. And like, I'm like, yeah, I guess I'm positive. But like, it's just like, I'm just thinking from a logical standpoint.
Well, you can control your own feelings, you know, and attitudes about things, you know, is what it is, and you limit the amount of control that other people have over how you feel about yourself or about your day or about your minute or about your job or about your abilities.
As
And
everyone should have that power.
yeah, and you know, some people take things to the butt. I mean, I was pulling up to the stop sign, and I pulled up, and then I didn't see nobody, and I pulled up a little bit more, but I think I went a little bit far, and then I stopped because there's this truck and he's hauling ass, and he comes by and he honks at me, and he had plenty of room, and so I was like, okay, and then I got back out, and he starts slowing down, and I'm like, okay, and then I come out here, and then he's like slowing down, and he's like doing this, and I'm just like, whatever, dude. I'm just like, I don't care. You're not important to me.
Exactly.
It wasn't that big a thing. I was past the white stop line, but I gotta creep out because I can't.
You startled him.
Is
he
what
got
it was.
Startled. Yeah, he's like,
oh, all gas though. But yeah, he probably got scared. He was in a big old truck. I mean,
well, yeah, because when you're driving and then like that aggressive, and then you see like a micro, like causing like just a little bit of you moving was enough for him to, like he noticed you at that instant, and then so he's like, you know, and so you scared him. That's all that was, you know. I get it, you know. Shit, people drive shitty. I get it, you know.
Fucking asshole.
Oh, I mean, like no, no, him. Yeah, no. If you're driving aggressive, you should know what's up, right?
Yeah.
If I'm driving aggressive and you fucking do something, and I'm like, you know, and I'm like, well, that's on me. If I was driving this fucking fast, I would have noticed. It wouldn't have mattered if you would have came out.
That's recognizing and taking responsibility for your own actions and your own decisions and the own risks that you're taking.
Yeah.
And again, I think you're really good at that. I think I don't know. I think you know your shit, one, and you don't give a shit about other people's shit too. So.
Yeah, I mean, like I talk a big game, but like no shit, I'm like, fucking bitch, you fucking telling me 5 numbers when it's 4 numbers. Now I'm joking. Like seriously, I didn't understand what was happening as it was happening it, but like afterwards, I'm like, that bitch was trying to get me, and then I thought about it, and then like then I thought it was a funny story to tell at that point. I don't know. That's right. It's a weird fucking thing because it's hard to quantify.
Somebody whose highlight for the day almost was catching Kevin not knowing how many numbers in a phone number.
It's not even a thing. It's not even a
go
thing.
Celebrate that shit on TikTok and on Instagram. She'd be like, I caught my coworker not knowing how many numbers in a phone number.
Yeah. This fucking idiot that's brown and I'm so racist because I'm white fucking doesn't know how to do numbers. That's why they're an inferior race. That's the vibe I was getting. But whatever. It's fucking, I was like, wow, you really got me with them numbers.
Aw, shucks.
Shit, I guess I should be voted for Trump this whole time. Maybe he would have gave me the intelligence to raid the Capitol and shit like that and get people killed. I don't know. You know,
There's 7 million numbers in a phone number. Oh, wait, no, I'm sorry. That's how much Biden won by.
All right, let's just call it. We did good.
Yeah.
We did good this time. So as always, please like and subscribe. If you want to make a comment, share our podcast, we're on Podcastforwe, as well as Podcastforme, the SoundCloud, Spotify, wherever you get podcasts. You can get us on iTunes. Also, there's a website, podcastforme.com, which I have alluded to thousands of times in earlier podcasts. You can make a blog or something. We can all get together and invest in MEDT. Yeah. Okay, guys. I know I threw a bunch of letters and acronyms, but that's what it is. As always, be the better person than you were yesterday. Don't wait till tomorrow or yesterday. Be that good person now.
Word.
All right? As always, mahalo. Let me hit stop. Maybe I should have been ready to hit stop before I said all that shit. As always, mahalo.